Very good afternoon and welcome to Mineral Resources Park. OPTUS WAFL Round 2 action for season 2021. Matt Chechen's in the call this afternoon, and as we pan over the magnificent setting of Mineral Resources Park, the Demons, with a win over West Coast last Saturday by 13 points, will look to get their season off to the ultimate start after breaking that many-year drought last year and booking themselves a spot in the 2020 finals. Well, their opponents today, Swan Districts, coming off a loss to Claremont last Saturday at home. 24 points was the margin. They're looking to square their ledger for season 2021. Well, the all-time meetings between the two sides, this is their 251st meeting. Perth with the edge, 134 wins to Swan District's 113. Live stream action today proudly brought to you by Provident Capital Partners. Thanks also to Newtown Toyota, Westrel, Go One Better with Westrel, and KCA Site Services. When we return from our first commercial break, I'll welcome my partner in crime this afternoon, Luke Worthington. We'll run our eye over both teams. Don't go anywhere. WAFL Round 2 action right around the corner.
Try Hungry Jack's Grillmaster's new premium pulled beef with thick, juicy flame-grilled Angus and smoky barbecue sauce. New Grillmaster's pulled beef and Angus. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's. Better. Family time's more fun when you keep it simple. Take a break with Hungry Jack's new feast bundle. Get 2 tender crisp chicken burgers, 2 Whoppers, 2 cheeseburgers, 18 nuggets, 4 small chips and 4 drinks for $34.95. Only at Hungry Jack's.
Live pictures of Mineral Resources Park, the Perth Demons taking on Swan Districts, Round 2, the OPTUS WAFL season for season 2021. Matt Chechen's alongside Luke Worthington. A very good afternoon to you.
Afternoon, Matt.
As we have a look, we'll jump straight into our preview. Currently on screen, Dakota Baldwin, the young ruckman. He's going to have his hands full this afternoon, Luke. The battle in the middle, he'll be locking horns. He only had 18 hit-outs against Nathan Vardy and Jordan Busher last week, albeit they're AFL calibre players, but he's going to have his hands full this afternoon, taking up against another former AFL player in Corey Galt in the ruck. 50 hit-outs for him in that loss to Claremont and 15 disposals. He was part of the WAFL Team of the Year in 2020. That's going to be a fantastic matchup.
Yeah, and what a tough start to the season for Dakota Baldwin, right? Going up against the current Eagle and the former Eagle. Really tough battle for him against Nathan Vardy last week, especially working in that tandem. So he's going to have his work cut out for him today, 2 weeks in a row. And
also no Fraser McGuinness either for the home side. So Jaden Hunter, in just his second WAFL game, will need to give him a bit of a chop out. As we see on screen at the moment, Chris Maston, West Coast Eagles premiership player back in 2018, was also part of that 2015 losing effort against Hawthorn. He had 29 disposals and 7 inside 50s last round. He's going to be an influential part of this game. Yeah, absolutely. Good to see him here in the Perth colours for season 2021 after signing with them last year. Couldn't quite make it into the side due to injury last year, so fantastic to see him back in this week, and just a dominant performance in round 1, so we're expecting big things from him. Yeah, also Matt Rogers will be key also for Perth. Die-hard red-leg supporters will remember his goal that sealed them that final spot last year. And we'll run our eye over Jesse Turner, named on the wing today off a 34 disposal effort. He's a bit of a Swiss Army knife. He had 4 inside 50s, 3 tackles and a goal against Claremont last week. Yeah, elevated to vice-captain this season too, Jesse Turner. So started really strong, like you mentioned, really dominated in the midfield that game, got a goal as well, and was pushing the ball inside 50 quite a few times. It'll be interesting to see Perth's possession game, Luke. They took 111 marks last week. Taylor, Clark, Edmonds and Gray, all with 8 marks or more, is something that Swan Districts are going to need to to try and curb, you would suggest, this evening.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was just a barn burner that they played against West Coast here last week. The footy was just moving around like the footy was moving around a lot. There were a lot of goals in the opening term, a 12-goal opening quarter, and then 31 combined goals between the two teams. They managed to hold off West Coast right at the end after West Coast got the lead and pushed back in front. So after leading for the entire game, so really impressive performance by them.
Well, Swan Districts, they're fast-starting Swans. They kicked 6 straight to Claremont's 2-1 and led by 23 points at quarter time before the wheels fell off the wagon, eventually going down by 24 points. Perth, albeit in a shorter season in 2020, were the highest scoring first quarter team in the competition. Round 2, season 2021, back to full-length quarters. It'll be the Redlegs, Perth Demons, to the right of your screen. That is the train station end of the ground. Swan Districts, black and white colours to the left of screen. And there is Dakota getting the little hand pass out of the middle. Baldwin right, as we said, he's going to have his hands full this afternoon. We'll have a secondary ball up just in front of the Bulls' eyes. Matt Chechens and Luke Worthington, courtesy of Provident Capital Partners, and the umpire, again, calling for the football. We'll have a secondary ball up. So Galt, Baldwin right, just winning it down with the left palm. Hurried kick up towards centre half forward. Well mopped up at the back. Sinclair, numerous times been named in the team of the year. Almost one of the greats across that half back line. Kicks off a step now up towards the broadcast wing. Galt held off the ball, and the umpire spotted that beautifully. In fact, it'll go the way of Christopher Jones. In fact, he's going to bring it back. So the man that wasn't being held, that I thought, in fact, it's going to come back to Stevens. So the umpire getting it right anyway. Perth giving away a few free kicks last week too. Their discipline will need to improve in this round 2 fixture. Umpire blows his whistle. That's a spearing ball up towards left half forward. The intended target was Anderson, and off hands out for a boundary throw-in. We've ticked over almost a minute and a half on the Newtown Toyota scoreboard. No score.
So it'll be Baldwin right, ready to go up for the tap. Let's see if he gets this one. And 2 in a row that'll be for him as he knocks it down. And it looks like the umpire will take that one. It was Maston who
Frank
went
Anderson
to ground,
taking no prisoners as well, making him meet some turf.
And again, Baldwin right wins the tap down, but Swans are going to get it. Pushing it inside 50 was Cipro, and the mark nearly taken. Collected off the ground, pushed out towards Clark. Handballed back in the direction of Fisher, working it around for Riley. And pushed back inside 50 by Ursig, and almost a big intercept mark taken there by Perth. Ball spills along the ground, just trickles out. Perth are going to get it, and it looks like the umpire will have it one more time.
Tough tackling
in the 50.
Opening to this game, Luke, as the lights start to illuminate the ground here.
And it's one back down by Galt. Swans trying to push it out of there. It was Ursig who moved it forward. Managed to get it out of the tackle. Ursig again, pushing it forward for Cipro. Now collected off the boot of Riley, pushing it inside 50. Tipped up in the air by Sinclair. Pushed towards goal. And it looks like that one goes through for a behind. First score of the evening goes to Swan Districts.
So Josh Cipro had 5 goals last season. He is a ball magnet. We'll keep our eye on him this afternoon. So the defender runs it out, kicks up to a contest through the hands of Galt, brings it down to ground level. Rogers lost his feet at the wrong time, coming up against his former club. Bundled over the line is Frank Anderson, former Northern Blues player.
Good pressure there by Swans.
26 disposals last week for that man on camera. Frank Anderson, he'll be a key part of this afternoon's fixtures. So the ball comes back in. Galt winning it down with the right hand. Maston overran it. Opens the door to Galt. Dispose of the football correctly. The umpire letting them play. In goes Anderson. Fires off the hand past Fisher. Superb vision from the reigning Sandover medalists. They pump it back inside 50. Good spoil at the back, bringing it down to ground level. Was that in the back on Sinclair? Maybe got 2 saddles put on him. Hand pass too hot to handle. Swan Districts have come to play their forward 50 pressure. Clearly evident in the early stage of this game. So just the 1 minor score as we tick over 4 minutes played on the Newtown Toyota scoreboard.
So going up again, it's Galt and Baldwin. Taps one down by Baldwin, but it goes towards Swan Districts. Pushing it in was Anderson. Ball's collected off the ground by Perth, working it out of there, and it'll be collected by Baldwin again. Just skipped past him. Moving it along now to Urseg as the Swans. Bayok kicks it inside 50, and
great mark.
I thought it might have been touched there by Sinclair.
Jesse Palmer.
Yeah, Palmer with the mark.
Well, former Port Adelaide player, played 3 games for the Power, thanks to KCI Site Services replay, and Bayok just off a step, pumping it inside 50. They finally get a contested mark to Jesse Palmer. He kicked 3 goals, 1 last week as he approaches the man on the mark, looking for our first major. It should come back with a breeze, and does. Palmer, his 4th goal of the season, just his 2nd game for the Black Ducks, and he's a handy addition to them this season. 190 centimetres, 91 kilograms, if you don't mind. And Swan Districts, they get the reward with the first major of the afternoon. And whenever that ball has hit the turf here at Mineral Resources Park, you've seen a black and white jumper all over at the moment, and their strong tackle's been a feature early on.
Their pressure's been fantastic, and that mark in the 50 by Palmer was unbelievable too. Really heavy pressure by the Demons. Managed to mark it in the middle of the pack, and the kick to just bend it in with the wind was absolutely beautiful. But yeah, Swans really turning on the pressure. I think last week they came out very strong too against Claremont, so let's see if they can hold it for 4 quarters this weekend.
Probably with a 2-goal advantage to the left of your screen. Swan Districts, ball back in the middle. Skew if bounce from the umpire, and we'll reset. So just having a look, Turner is playing on this broadcast wing at the moment, and his direct opponent's Jai Clark. So Clark in just his 2nd game for his career. Got a goal on debut last week. Baldwin right, won it down. Anderson again putting the handcuffs on Brady Gray. Originally from Tasmania, Bernie Docker's product. 21 games for the Fremantle Footy Club. And right on cue with a left boot, shows why he was an AFL talent. This is the furthest forward the Demons have been. Their first entry inside 50 towards Rogers. Puts his left fist through the football. Does beautifully to Crum. Back to Gray. Now Gray to a one-on-one in the goal square. And the Swan District's defender on the last line of defence, Christopher Jones, just getting his knuckles onto the ball and through for the first score for the Demons. They're wasting no time. They bring the ball in quickly through the hands of Anderson, but he's got time to collect, and he's immediately met in a strong tackle from Jack Richardson. No prior opportunity. Kicked 9 goals last season. Jack Richardson, Scotch boy as well. Now a lot of players around this contest. Looks as though Gray's on the ball. Good win from Galt. That was clever. Towards Fisher, and he was taken high. As we said, his first season last year resulted in a surprise win in the Sandover Medal, polling 13 votes, 2 ahead of the favourite in Aaron Black. Superb kick. And the Black Ducks moving the ball constructively. That ball's awkwardly flowing back. Sinclair showing courage against the flight of the ball. Maston threw that. The umpire didn't see it. They get away with one. Sinclair playing the 1-2. Kicks to a contest down between right half forward and the wing, and just in front of the interchange bench of Swan Districts. So they lead 7-1 point. It's not showing up on our scoreboard currently, but the Demons have got a minor score. Just letting you know, we have no live scores at the ground either, Luke, which might make it pretty tough today. We hope Matt, our producer in the truck's got good math skills. Here comes Gray, running out of tarmac, and we'll have a boundary throw in, just ticking over 8 1/4 minutes opening term.
So Golden Baldwin ready to go back up again. Baldwin getting the early advantage of the contest. 7 hit outs to Galt's 4. One down by Baldwin, one more time. Maston trying to push onto it, and that'll go right back to where we started from. Maston and Fisher colliding.
And Cipro as well. Like to see the youngsters not taking a backward step to a AFL Premiership player.
Hit outs, one down by Perth. Maston collects it, pushing it forward. Kick was pushed in by Richardson. Mark, almost an intercept mark taken there by Spackman. Pushes it across. Spackman again. Kick smothered really well by McPartland. Ball bouncing around. Swans are going to collect it in the defensive 50. Pushing it out to Spackman again. Thumping kick towards 2. Contest might have been held. Yes. So it'll be Tony Knott.
246 game as the season campaigner. Tony Knott, what a servant he's been.
So a big milestone coming up for him this season as he thumps it almost towards the 50, and a clever mark taken there by Taylor.
That's his 5th disposal as well, Luke, getting plenty of the footy along with Sinclair across half-back.
Great switch there to push it across to Clark, looking in the direction of Davis. He'll mark it and slow things down. Chips it forward, and he was looking for Reed, and it's going to be Bayok who collected it off the floor. Pushing it across now, snapped inside 50, and there's not going to be a Perth player there to collect it. That one looks like it's going to sail out at will. Not quite there. Was Taylor. Sorry.
Matty Rogers on screen. He'd be familiar with those black and white stripes. Obviously a former Swan Districts player, but also from Cunderton out in the wheat belt. The mighty Magpies, his younger brother Todd, I think nicknamed him the Salmon Gun. He is a big individual and a good kick for goal. So the ball comes back in. Galt just elects to take it out. Surely that is deliberate. And is.
It is, yeah.
So the umpires love giving that. They know that the attention's on them. So the resulting free kick will be taken by Jack Richardson. Kicked 9 goals, as I said earlier, last year. Can be handy inside forward 50. That's a chaos ball up towards the kickoff line. They fly, and the mark taken. Superb work on the fly. Jaden Hunter, 194 centimetres of him, and as you can see, 75 kilos. And he elects to play on and misses to the near side. So in just his 2nd game, Applecross Junior Football Club product. I'm sure if he has his time over, but good signs. I mean, we saw plenty of those marks last year. Logan McDonald, what a debut he's having in the AFL. 7 goals through 4 games. So Perth really are producing the key forwards. Shocking turnover for Swan Districts. And running into the open goal and missing a sitter, Brant College. I don't think he'd get an easier chance across 101 games in the WAFL. So they're doing it by paper cuts at the moment. Well read by Galt. Looks to wheel around, taking advantage of these new rules. Bit of a flower bag kick up towards half forward through the hands of the youngster and Thomas Edwards. Ball in dispute. Guess who's there? Sinclair wraps up the ball carrier. And a chance now to take a collective breath. 1-1 plays 3 behinds. Galt. And we've got a whistle from the non-officiating umpire to the right of screen. Saw something untoward in the ruck contest. So Galt, former Collingwood Magpie, kicks up towards the hot spot. Brought down at ground level by Giblet. They kick around the corner, ends up in the hands of Corey Byrne. Sweeps the hand pass now as they bounce across half back to a 2-on-1 through the hands of Galt. Good forward line pressure. Jaden Hunter needed to be rewarded and wasn't. So the crumbs gathered by Reed. His hand pass partially smothered. Maston on hands and knees. They kick around the corner, but it's going to be cut off in defence as Braden Spackman takes it and looks to move it back inside defensive 50.
Kick gets pushed across the other side of the ground. Swans will collect here through Clark. Working it towards Beck. Switching it back across in the direction of Jesse Palmer. Chipping it forward, and a bad miss there by Frank Anderson, and it'll fumble over there. Would have been a good opportunity for the Swans to push it inside 50.
Good work from Baldwin Wright, the big man, getting to the coalface.
26 disposals, Anderson last week, and that's one that he'd like to have back. Tap misses everyone. Collected off the ground by Langlands. Umpire says, I'll have it one more time.
Kicked 2 goals on debut. Former St Kilda Saint. 3 games he played in the AFL.
Taps one down. Collected and pushed in by Clark. And it's going to be marked by Reedy Reedy's going to look for an option inside 50, thumps it forward over the top of everyone, and that'll go out of bounds on the full. Reedy playing his first game in Waffle League this year.
Tony Knott was a little appalled by the delivery, but you know, it's almost a 2 to 3 goal breeze. You might be able to hear it through our headset, so it's not easy conditions at the moment.
The breeze very much did catch that one, and kicking into it now. Contest pushing it out of bounds. Umpire ready to throw it back in. It'll be Baldwin going up for it with Noble, it looks like. Noble jumps up, gets the tap down. Baldwin's going to collect it and push it across to Byrne. Byrne trying to get it out of there. Umpire will probably have it one more time. He will. So the hit-out's definitely in favour of Baldwin at the moment. He wins one more down. It's going to be pushed forward by Byrne into a contest, and a great intercept mark there by Jones, who's going to switch it across. It's pushed down, collected off the floor by Jetta. He moves it across the defensive 50 to Waite, who switches in the direction of Clark. Clark staggering, pushes it forward, just misses the top of Turner. And Perth might have something here, collecting it off the floor. Now pushed forward again, a shot on goal from just below the 50, goes out of bounds.
Yeah, Brady Gray probably want that moment back again, playing the 1-2 with Rogers, who is very good at crumbing also and bringing his teammates into play. So the Demons have been on top with the amount of possession at the moment, and the last forward 50 entries in the last 5 minutes. Can they get some reward for that effort? Sweeping hand pass comes out over the head there of Nelson Waite. Just kicking off a step up towards the kickoff line was Edmonds. No clean mark taken. Swan Districts have been pretty good across half back, and Fisher watches the ball trickle over the boundary line. Bought his own footy again. He's had 7 touches already. That man on screen.
2 tackles as well, Fisher today getting involved.
So Corey Byrne looks to be putting a bit of time into him. Shallow throw in from the umpire. Swan District's clear. Long and high and not handsome. Out of bounds on the full. And will go the way of Dakota Baldwin Wright. He did lose the hit-outs last week, but they capitalised on inside 50s, did the Demons. That ball held up beautifully into the strong breeze. That's 2 good, strong contested marks to Jaden Hunter. He'll be kicking right into the teeth of this breeze, so he'd need to be starting it well outside the right-hand upright. The umpire just setting the mark. Only 2 players back on the goal line. This is interesting. Backing himself, the young man. Kicked 1 on debut last week. Punches it low and hard. Fantastic work. He makes amends for his earlier miss. Jaden Hunter makes it 2 goals in 2 appearances. Uppercross Junior Football Club, the Hawks, must have been watching a bit of the Masters last night. He just decided to pull out the 3-iron. As we have a look, thanks to KCA Site Services, pulls the 3-iron out of the bag and punches it over the goal umpire's hat.
Yeah, you don't really catch it on that close up there, but the ball sailed in, and what you would describe as a mongrel kick, absolutely just punched it through the wind. Unreal. I really thought that was going to be a bit ambitious there, going from about 52 into the wind.
You're gonna love the youngsters just backing themselves in.
Absolutely, and he's up for a big game as well.
Born in 2002. I'd been driving a car for 5 years. Ball up. Fisher tries to bust his way through his opposing number 9 in Brady Gray, and he says no chance. First lead of the afternoon. It's taken 17.5 minutes for the Perth Footy Club. This live stream proudly brought to you by Provident Capital Partners. Matt Chechens and Luke Worthington bring you all the action. Saturday Night Fever at Mineral Resources Park. Fisher, that's disposal number 9. Bit of a chaos ball, goes over some defensive hands. Just getting toe onto the ball there. Clearing kick. Up to a 2-on-2. There's that last goal kicker in Hunter. Couldn't do it this time. Hand pass. Cut off. They can link up now. receding a little bit of ground. Weight. Brings it back to Jeddah. How many times have we seen this? Spears the ball. That is fantastic. You need to appreciate that kind of skill. This is Clark. Unfortunately, just couldn't deliver. Was out in the back to the Swan Districts player. No, stepping through heavy traffic was Cipro. Run down in the tackle. Just got his hand to the ball. Picked up by Swan Districts. Fine shot for goal. And it's Matt Riggio with the immediate response.
And that was exactly what Swan Districts needed to do in that situation. They got down, started fast last week, and let Claremont back in. They're not going to make it. They don't want to make it a similar story this week. Really showed what their worth was there. And the ball started out from the back with Jeddah. They managed to punch it forward really nicely and kept that forward pressure up. And they were not letting up for that whole sequence of play.
Here's a way to announce yourself into the game. Matt Riggio played 10 games with the North Melbourne. He's a veteran of the WAFL competition, but that was his first touch of the game. So just reading the play, getting to the open space, and using that breeze, keeping the ball low.
And he was 50,
straight through,
50-50 to come back this season after playing his 200th game last year, it was reported.
Bit of an arm wrestle between these two. Swan Districts with that surprise win last year almost ended Perth's finals hopes. College, again, laying the clamps down on Anderson this time. They try and extract the football, and Brady Gray. Wouldn't be surprised if Anderson looked in his rearview mirror this afternoon and saw Brady Gray sitting there. He's been clamping him all day. Sweeping hand pass, great vision. Here come Perth. They just look to just peel off the little kick towards Maston. Maston's got time and room to operate. He had Byrne over the top, elects to go longer. Too much air on that pass inside 50, allowed the spoil. Swan Districts do well to force a ball up. So Newtown Toyota scoreboard has Swan Districts, after that Riggio goal, back in front by 4 points. We're into time added on in this first term.
Swan Districts are going to be wanting to get another one while they have the breeze in the last 10 minutes of running time in this quarter. Booting it out of there, gets held up into a contest. Oh, and a big collision was taken there between Knott and Sinclair. Ball gets pushed towards the outside, handballed through for Hill, trying to push it forward, couldn't quite do it, and
that could almost be a free kick.
Taken over the boundary. Looks like nothing will come of it. Gray, the former Docker, taking that one over the line. Contest just missed everybody, and that might be holding the ball as Byrne goes down. No, umpire says that he'll have it.
Good work from young Spackman.
It's collected off the ground by Perth. They managed to trickle it out of there, and he might be gone. Yes, and a little bit of after the whistle, and it'll be collected straight out of there. No, Clark tried to go for the advantage. Umpire said no. Gray pushing it inside 50. Who's going to collect this one? Punched down by Swan Districts. Two of them trying to collect it off the floor. Fumbled around, and they might get it out of there. Now they do. Push towards a contest. It'll go out of bounds on the full. Again, so Perth with another opportunity here.
Brant College showing his experience there. Could have easily raised his hands and potentially have carried that ball over the line for a boundary throw-in, but just elected just to pull out, and then takes the resulting free kick to a big pack of players. Byrne off a step. That's going to end up in the fortuitous arms of the forward, standing all on his own. Brent Edmonds, a man from Northam. Fetties, fierce rivals of Railways there in Northam. Caught a bit of footy out that way, but Brent Edmonds yet to kick a goal. In fact, yet to hit the scoreboard in season 2021. Can he put the Demons back in front? You bet he can!
And what a start to the season from Edmonds. Was averaging nearly 20 disposals a game when he was playing in the reserves, and 13 in league through the period that he's played for the Demons. Had 23 disposals last week and has kicked a goal in the opening term of this one, so hopefully a big season ahead for him.
As casual as you like, thanks to KCA Site Services. Polished finish. So Byrne just slapped it onto his right boot. The ball floated against that 2-goal breeze and just landed in his arms. Perth retake the lead. They move to 2-3-15. Swan District's 2-1-13, thanks to Newtown Toyota. Lovely, idyllic scenes here. I might be biased, but Laughlin is probably the best suburb to live in Perth. As we
I do love seeing the Eagles facilities here.
As we just await our field umpires today, Curtis Snatter, number 2, Jason Gibb and Ben Laycock. They've done a superb job in the early stages. And a perfect bounce right on cue. One down by Galt. Maston tries to just step his way through some trouble. Slung in the tackle. Dispossessed in that tackle there was Jack Richardson, and a chance now for Swan Districts. Well, they've answered every call. Good mark at the back. That was beautifully read. Zach Hill, another Northern youngster. His parents own the Sports Power there in Northern. Maston, the 1-2. Turner overran the footy. Reedy throws it on the right boot. 2-on-2 at the kickoff line. Good spot on the football. The Demons will be trying to will numbers to the contest. That was good work in tight there from Thomas Edwards. He goes off the ground again. It's rolling towards goal. Much like a centre forward or a winger in soccer, just cut it across the goal face and no one there to tap it in, but the Demons dodge a bullet. So the kick-in duties be taken by Casey Nicholas. Out towards Baldwin Wright through his hands. Burns, strong work, just bumped his opponent off the footy. Baldwin Wright, dispossessed. Turner tried to hand pass to himself, only gave it to Maston. Get his numbers of disposal shortly. And a chance to reset from this boundary throw-in, broadcast side. Connor McPartland, he'll be looking to hit the scoreboard. Kicked 3 last week. Under the watchful eye there of Anthony Stevens, Swan Valley product. Again, a shallow throw-in from the boundary umpire, evades all to Edmonds. Pushed off his kick, that's what affected it. They link up across half-back, that's Spackman. Interesting, bouncing, tumbling ball. Towed out of the air, Matty Scarlett style. Up towards the forward paint of 50, but it's going to come back. How will the ball sit up? Kindly for Swan Districts. Ooh. Lovely little hand pass to Anderson. And he goes towards a vacant square, just sets it up there for the runner. Palmer, will it sit kindly? It won't. And rather despondently slaps it through after it crosses. And again, the Perth Demons dodge another scoring chance for Swan Districts. They now move out towards a 5-point lead as we approach quarter time.
Pushed into the pack, nearly taken by Baldwin, but collected over the top by Noble, thumping it inside 50. Contest for the footy, nearly taken down by Perth.
Oh, it's a free kick.
It'll be a free kick for Swan Districts. So it looks like it was Palmer who was hassled off the ball.
Yeah, I think the free kick was there. So Palmer just adjusting the Barnet.
So let's see what he can do here. 3 goals against Claremont in round 1, like we mentioned. This for his 2nd of the night, Jesse Palmer. And easy as you like, splits it straight through the middle. Swan Districts. Move to 3 goals, 20. Perth sitting at 2 goals, 15 after the goal by Palmer.
And it looks to be a very, very handy pickup. Obviously played in the VFL last year, 3 games for Port Adelaide and also 3 goals on his debut last week. Chris Jones, the other big pickup, former Box Hill Hawk premiership player back in 2018. That's the affiliate to the Hawthorn Hawks Football Club, so they know how to recruit Victorian talent. You saw that with the youngster last year in Fisher, who came from the Northern Blues. Made the team of the year in 2020, did Fisher, and only on the interchange bench and ended up winning the Sandover. Interesting. Ball comes in inside 50. Now the Demons don't want to give up another score here. Now wouldn't write him off from this distance, particularly with this breeze. So it is directly over his right-hand shoulder.
Breeze is a factor. I do feel like it's dropped off a bit. So
yeah, gloomy conditions as well. Obviously, a couple of cyclones in the north of our state. Best wishes to everyone up there. Not fires it off the side of his right boots and off hands. Will it go out of bounds? Yes. Baldwin right with the little fumble slash stumble across the line. He'd be relieved to have the ball go out for a boundary throw-in. In the dying embers of this opening term, Swan Districts with the lead. Baldwin right only gave it down to an opponent. Good strong tackle made by Langlands. It's Dalton Langlands. Murray Bushrangers products. That's in Wangaratta, Luke, North Victoria. They produce 151 AFL players. We'll go through some of those later in the call. Big fly, good mark. Aidan Clark went up, he rose like a salmon out of fresh water and just plucked the ball. And we'll have a relatively easy shot closing out this term thanks to KCA Site Services. It was a hurried kick in the end, and as we have a look at the fly, lovely little sit, if you don't mind, and a chance to double his individual tally on the season. Kicked one straight last week. The man from Bunbury thuds it into the left-hand upright. The Demons breathe a sigh of relief. 6 points the margin as they bring it into the back pocket. That is a risky kick. It's going to be chopped off and out of play. Demons fans with their heart in mouth.
Being played back in one more time. Surely seconds remaining in the first term. Really good opening quarter. 2 goals, 3. Perth plays 3 goals, 3 Swan Districts. Taps one down, handballed across, trying to push it out of there. Find one last entry into the 50 Swan Districts. Collecting it off the floors, Jetta, pushing it across for Bayett. Swung out wide, thumping it in, nearly reaches the 50, and it's going to be an intercept mark taken there by Edmonds. And he looks like he maybe wants to slow things down. No, he pushes it forward into a contest on the wing, going up for it and pushed down, collected by Richardson, and he'll hold it. Umpire will have it one more time as we tick over 31 minutes of running time. A long opening term.
Making his debut today in the WAFL from Mount Barker, the 24, Jordan Reid, can't miss him. The peroxided locks, much like Matt Guelphy, former Claremont player, now playing in red and black of Essendon. I think Perth would just be happy to stem this scoring, this barrage of inside 50s at the moment, Luke, and just
take the breeze next term and get in front of them.
Get into the team huddle, but they might not be allowed to. Free kick.
So it's going to be taken by Noble. Swans with one last chance to extend their lead before the quarter time siren. Going up for it, might have been pushed in the back, he wasn't. Collected off the ground, pushing it across. Now trying to work it out of there, snaps it inside 50. Who's going to collect it here? Going up high was Riley.
Push, yeah, unrealistic attempt.
Yeah.
You got to love the exuberance, but Frank Anderson trying to emulate his teammate in Aidan Clark. So here come the Demons, out towards right Baldwin. Fisher up to 11 disposals. This is Burn now for Perth. Awkward bouncing ball into the hands of Rogers, onto his preferred left. Intended target here of Jack Richardson. Just ushers Jetta under the footy, runs into the open goal and misses to the right-hand side. And that is a minor score, and we have had the siren. Packed house here at Mineral Resources Park. And we reached the first break with Swan Districts in a bit of an arm wrestle with the Demons. They went goal for goal throughout that term. 3-4-22, leading Perth 2-3-15. That margin 7 points on the Newtown Toyota scoreboard. When we come back from our break, we'll go through some of the big numbers of this round 2 clash. It is Swan Districts leading the Demons by 7. We'll be right back.
Family time's more fun when you keep it simple. Take a break with Hungry Jack's new feast bundle. Get 2 tender crisp chicken burgers, 2 Whoppers, 2 cheeseburgers, 18 nuggets, 4 small chips and 4 drinks for $34.95. Only at Hungry Jack's. Try Hungry Jack's Grillmaster's new premium pulled beef with thick, juicy flame-grilled Angus and smoky barbecue sauce. New Grillmaster's pulled beef and Angus. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
As we have a look at the huddle, Swan Districts with the early advantage. Final fixture for this round 2 of the OPTUS WAFL season for 2021. Welcome back to Mineral Resources Park. Matt Chechens and Luke Worthington in the call this afternoon. And Swan Districts starting the game brightly. They kicked the first goal before a bit of an arm wrestle resulting. Teams going goal for goal. The only multiple goal kicker for the game is Jesse Palmer of Swan Districts. He has 2. Matt Riggio with a goal also for Swan Districts. Jaden Hunter in his second game of WAFL football, kicking the first goal for the Redlegs. And Brent Edmonds with a rare goal, usually playing in the back line. The 2 individual goal kickers. As we look at some of our Westrel highlights. Westrel, go one better with Westrel. And it was fair to say, Luke Worthington, the Samuel Fisher show, 11 disposals. In fact, it's just ticked over to 12.
Yep.
12 disposals for the reigning Sandover medalist in the first term.
Yeah, 3 tackles as well for Fisher, really making his presence known. Pushed it inside 50 twice too. So really going out there and dominating today. Anderson trails him second in disposals, tied with Lachlan Riley, 7 disposals each. Those 2 have for Swan Districts. And on the other side, 9 disposals for Maston and Matthew Taylor. And then Brent Edmonds sits beside them with 6. But yeah, Fisher, he's looking for another big 3-vote performance that could see him right in the Sandover mix again.
Just have a look at this slick hand pass. That was Fisher. They link up to Riggio, and he had composure, the veteran. Managed to retake the lead. This is Brent Edmonds, the man from Northam. Just as casual as you like, popping it over the goal umpire's hat. And then their run and carry across the middle of the ground has been superb in the early stages. There's Matt Taylor, who's been influential. He was part of the team of the year alongside Michael Sinclair, the Perth captain. In fact, Sinclair made the team of the year in 2020, 19, 18, 16, and before that I couldn't find any. But I'm sure being a 2-time club fairest and best, he's probably had more than that. And this man here has made a big impact for his new club. Jesse Palmer kicked 3 goals, 1 last week on debut and a loss to Claremont. He's kicked 2. As we have a look at Sam Fisher today, 12 disposals and 3 tackles.
So he's right on track to smash through that 33 disposal average that he's carrying across from last season in his first season in the WAFL after coming across from the VFL.
That's amazing too, considering that the quarters are much shorter.
Yeah, and then matched his average last week with 33 disposals in
It's
that
great
game.
To see, but he's not. He accumulates possessions, but it's what he does with it. He doesn't blaze away.
Absolutely, yeah.
You saw him on hands and knees and setting up a goal for Riggio before. Probably a sport that you're more familiar with, the ice hockey assist. That second pass but before the assist. And Chris Maston on screen at the moment, 9 disposals, just the 1 tackle, but he floats between half back and half forward. Such an experienced campaigner. But I'll tell you what, I've loved the work of Frank Anderson of Swan Districts. 7 disposals. He's had 3 tackles, 2 inside 50s. And that's a battle at the moment that Swan Districts look to be. They'll need to try and curb some of Maston's impact. Brady Gray on screen there and Brant College. And you look at Byrne. They've got a very well embedded midfield group now. Maston playing a handful of games last year. Gray, another wonderful pickup also last year. And the man to the left of that screenshot there in Dakota Baldwin-Wright, leading the hit-outs at the moment. It was a feature that it was going to come up in today's play. Something that we're going to look at because Baldwin-Wright, 14 hit-outs. A lot to advantage too in that term.
Nearly
up
matching
against
what
Corey
he got against
Galt,
Vardy last week.
Well, he's coming off 50 hit-outs, Corey Galt. He's a very mobile player as well, a multiple member of the team of the year for the WAFL and a former AFL listed player with the Collingwood Magpies. So he's cutting his teeth against some very good opponents.
It's impressive from Baldwin. He had 18 hit-outs against Vardy last week, and he's on 14 now, ready to absolutely smash through that against Galt tonight, the youngster.
So an important matchup there on screen. Zach Hill has got the job on the number 28. That's Tony Knott. He hasn't kicked one today. He has forced him up the ground to try and gain a few possessions. So you would say the early advantage to the youngster from Northam. Picturesque scenes, as you can see, some of the weather setting in over the metro area in the goal square. So Swan Districts will be attacking the goal to the right of your screen, the railway end. The Mighty Red Legs to the left of screen, the Graham Farmer Freeway end. Jason Gibb holds the ball aloft. The umpires have been superb. Start of the second term. Can the Swan Districts capitalise on an early lead in the first term? Galt tries to win it down. Anderson held without the football. First chance to have the foray forward. Some special comments from the Perth locals just in front of us. We love the passion. Anderson, that is an absolute mongrel kick off the side of the boot, but it could turn out okay. Running onto the footy, collecting well was Lachlan Riley, but his kick let him down. And there's Byrne. Byrne peels off the 45-degree kick to Edmonds. Now Edmonds just looks to give it back to Byrne. Again, massages the ball up towards the bullseyes. And again, the 1-2. But Byrne tried his luck one too many times. Was that ball dropped? In comes crashing through the pack was Braden Noble. Brady Gray again at the coalface laying the tackles. Fisher on scene as well, and Maston, who will get the first entry inside 50. Just trying to get through was College. Missed a golden opportunity in the opening term. If you just joined us, a bit of a 2-goal advantage, you would say, to the left of your screen. Maston, much like a fullback in gridiron, just puts his head down and gains a couple of yards. They'll have another ball up just adjacent to the bullseyes. Newtown Toyota scoreboard yet to have an addition to the quarter time lead. 3-4-22 to 2-4-16. And the umpire calls again. It's a bit neutral at the moment. Balled up. College manages to get a little torpedo off the side of the boot. Now towards that non-broadcast wing, trying to keep the footy in front of him was McPartlin. Hasn't really had an impact on this contest. Beautiful vision from Maston. Spreads the ball wide. Here come Perth. First entry inside 50 for the term. Just too strong. And too experienced, just using his considerable strength. Alex Howard, over 150 games in the WAFL, kicks to a contest on the outer side. Players aren't taking a backward step. Edmonds has his kick smothered out of play, and another stoppage.
So what can Perth do here to get back in front at home? They've had the advantage in hit-outs and are just trailing in the advantage in disposal. Swan Districts with 100 of them. Perth with 85 as they collect another one off the floor. Pushing it forward, Reedy soccers it, collected off the ground now, handballing it through. They'll try and find an option, and it'll be a good mark taken in the middle by Reagan Clark. Clark pausing to collect. Kicks it across to the non-broadcast end.
And this is a feature of their game last week, Luke. They had 111 marks just chipping around at the moment. So Swan Districts will be happy. And then getting them to try and bite that 45-degree kickoff, albeit they give away. In fact, they've earned the free kick. So Swan Districts will be happy with that defensive setup.
And Swans trying to collect themselves now. It was just dropped, but they'll try and push it through the middle. It was taken by Clark. Ball just bounced forward. Crumbed up by Marston. Pushing it through. Perth snapping it around the corner. And a collision in the middle. Footy spills out. Collected by Maston again. Manages to work it out of the tackle. One more time. Handballs it out of there. The Swan Districts fans calling for holding the ball. And that'll go right into the umpire's hands one more time.
It's great to see all our loyal fans of both clubs tuning in today. Bryn Arnold, special shout out to you, big Redlegs fan.
And it's collected off the ground by Swans one more time. Picked up by Reed. Handballs it forward. Collecting it again, and the umpire might have it one more time. He will. Big tackle there by Brandon Ursig.
Almost up to double digit for stoppages, and we're only 4¼ minutes into this second term.
Big tackle there by Ursig. 5th season with the Swans. Averaging 12 disposals each game as it's pushed forward, just misses getting inside 50, snapped around by the Swans, pushing it into the middle. Contest for the ball, went down to ground, taken off the floor by Matthew Taylor, and pushed inside 50 now, and a great intercept mark.
That's 2 from Ursig just in this term alone.
Ursig chips it through the middle of the 50 to Cipro. Cipro, dangerous kick and a strong mark.
I'll tell you what, he had 3 demons around him, Fisher, but we've got to credit
the smallest one in the pack as well.
Credit Cipro, because that was, I don't want to rip off the great man's call, but that was millimetre. Here comes Riggio, who was held by Sinclair. 2 savvy veterans of the comp. Is that in the back? No. Just a good, strong tackle from Jesse Turner, slamming his opponent into the turf, and another stop. He's just going back to Cipro. Interesting option as that ball was in flight, and it managed to just hold up in the breeze and hit that man on screen.
He definitely saw something we didn't see, and it paid off perfectly.
So Fisher up to 13 disposals. Galt hands it off. Fisher, touch number 14. That one will go out of play, but they're winning the territory game at the moment. You have a look at the possession in this second term. It's all been for the Redlegs at the moment, kicking to the left of screen, and Swan Districts have sat back, zoned off, absorbed the pressure, and now they get a stoppage inside 50. So Galt could have been slung around the neck. Here comes Gray. He's had an impact in this game. Left foot down the wing. Ursig, 3 intercept marks in this term alone, and it's not easy bumping a man of the stature of Rogers just off the footy. So he uses a lot of time. No one backward of the centre circles, and that is a disappointing kick as it floats out of bounds on the full. And one of the Swan Districts just getting a first-hand look at some of the Eagles and the Wirrapunda Foundation facilities. Interesting. And they bring it literally to the goal mouth. So they'll go long and high. They put it up in the slipstream. Up towards Knott. Had it slapped out of his clutches. Regained by Ursig. Been best on ground in this term. Here comes Turner. Busts his way to 50 to a 2-on-1. Through the hands of the Demons defender. Great tackle by Will Reedy. Jars the footy loose, but somehow they're going to dodge a bullet. So Taylor linking up with a teammate. Jetta has pulled up on that far side of the ground. He looks to be injured. He's standing still at the moment. We'll keep an eye on him, Luke, on that far side. He has not moved from the spot. Has Jetta, and he looks rather dejected. He is limping towards the outer side of the ground as they look to build. Might be in the screenshot now. Jetta just over the top. You can see him on his haunches. That's not a good sign. The marquee signing. Here come the Demons. This is Gray. Passes through the bullseyes. Draws an opponent. Feeds out the hand pass wide. This is Austin Davis. Kicking to a vacant square. Awkward spinning ball. Evades the clutches of the Swan District's defender in Chris Jones.
And there's Jetta
out of play. In fact, no, the ball stayed in. Jetta in the hands of the trainer. We'll keep with the play at the moment. So Swan Districts managed to clear their defensive 50-metre arc.
Call for a substitute from the trainer. Jetta slowly limping to the other side of the field.
That was a very risky kick, and it's going to be chopped off. Regan Clark will kick from the paint of the centre square, and rather errantly. Another chopping off mark in defence, Chris Jones. And that was interesting and out of play, so we'll have a ball in. Jetta still making his way off the ground. You can see on the screen there, both trainers out to him. You could see straight away, couldn't you, Luke? He just pulled up straight away, so could be a hamstring injury. I'm not a doctor or a physio, we don't want to, but it did look as though he grabbed that upper part of his leg, so we'll keep an eye.
Stop right in his tracks during that play. He's managed to walk to the other end of the field by himself.
Yeah, but sometimes with hamstrings that can happen. So Fisher, 15 disposals. That's got snow on it. It's gone very high through the arms there of Giblet. Taylor looking to rack up another one of his possessions. That's Maston. Experience wins out, moves it out to Edmonds, who in turn feeds it wide. Good run, good build-up play, spearing pass into the pocket. Too hot to handle. Busting out on the lead was Jack Richardson. Another chance for Swan Districts to clear, but it's going to be coming back.
And here's Maston, great mark at the back of the pack, pushing it inside 50, chips it through, and a great intercept mark taken by Frank Anderson. Anderson, 26 disposals and 5 tackles against Claremont in round 1.
He's come to play, Frank the Tank.
Finds Waite. Waite chips it through the middle, and a big contested mark taken one more time by Fisher. Evading Richardson there, pushing it out. Swan's slowing things down now. As Galt collects it, pushes it inside 50. It was thumped forward by the Demons. Collected off the floor by Galt. Going down for it was Langlands. Umpire says, I'll have it.
So Langlands, and also his compatriot there in Casey Nicholas, human cannonball at that stage.
Chipped up, just misses the contest. Running towards it is Richardson, trying to collect it, it'll spill out. Pushed across for Waite. Waite with his second touch in this sequence. Working it forward now, Bayup pushes it inside 50,
fantastic
and a big
kick.
mark taken by Reedy.
But how good was that? The link-up play, firstly from Waite, bring it inboard to Bayok, to Reedy, and now they've cocked it up. Reedy will get pushed off it. Chance now to Perth to rebound onto the left peg of Austin Davis. Waiting and lurking at the back of that pack was Rogers, but you have a look at that build-up play.
Really need to slow down there,
Well, Nelson Waite in his 10th game, Mount Lawley Inglewood Junior Footy Club product, he linking up there and with young Bayok as well, who's just in his 16th game of WAFL football, then up to young Will Reedy, so the future's bright. Well, their Colts had a resounding win today. I'll take you through some of the other scores for round 2 of the WAFL at the half-time break. Here comes Gray. Starting to earn a lot of possessions across the ground. That is
Ursig again.
Ursig again. That is 5 intercept marks. And I count in this term alone for Ursig. Left foot kick. Straight down the throat of Casey Nicholas. He's got numbers in board. He's going to bite off a kick. This is risky, but we like to see it. Got the weight. Mark was taken by Clark. He can run to 50. Pops it up to the kickoff line. And Swan Districts again converge. And Anderson takes his second specky and may have caught one on the back of the head. We just await. We know that there's so much focus on concussion, and so there should be. But Anderson has come to play this afternoon. He's got 2 options on his right shoulder. They both get ignored. Kicks to a 2-on-2 contest. Galt at the back. Knott flew as well, so all the tall timber. Good tackle and good chase from Knott as well. Little blind hand pass is going to turn all right. Over his head was Cipro. Reedy tries to bump Sinclair off the footy. Nicholas plays the 1-2 with Maston. In turn to Langlands. Langlands transfers play. That's great play from the Demons. That's Brent Edmonds. Moves it 45 degrees. And this is where it's been breaking down in this term for the Demons. Not making use of the breeze. So Dalton Langlands. 3 games for St Kilda. Originally from the Murray Bushrangers. How's this for some names the Murray Bushlands, Bush Rangers, I should say, have produced? Fraser Gehrig, Stevie J, Brett Delidio, Jack Siebel, Steele Sidebottom, Tom Rockcliffe, Jack Crisp and Clayton Oliver.
Some royalty in there.
It is. If you just joined us, Jetta has come from the ground. Appears to be a problem, lower limb. So he is currently off the ground. Chris Maston on screen at the moment.
And it looks like Perth have tried to slow things down for Swans this quarter. Brady Gray tasked almost entirely with tagging Sam Fisher, who has been slowing down ever so slightly.
Still got 16 touches for the game.
Yeah, not the 12 disposal first quarter he had, but he is adding to the tally, but slowed down a little bit there by Gray, the former Collingwood man, as he gets pushed inside 50. And the mark taken by Edwards.
Just to manage to find himself over the back. This is just his 3rd game. He kicked 4 straight last week and then started on the interchange bench. Not sure what you have to do to try and get a spot in their starting lineup, but obviously an accurate kick for goal. They had some real bright moments in that loss to Claremont, who today went 2-0. Now you talk a man up and he thuds it into the left-hand upright. It's his first blemish. So Perth, they need to try and bite into this lead, which stands at 7 points currently. Now the umpire is called for a blood rule, and it is Frank Anderson, and I think it might be on the back of his head when he took that stretching mark in front of Brant College about 5 minutes before at centre half back. So he'll come from the ground and get stitched up. He's had 12 disposals, 5 tackles, 3 inside 50s, and 1 specky. Here come the D's. Love the extra room for the defenders, and that is a big clearing kick out to the wing. Galt had 3 bites of the cherry, couldn't take the mark, and disguises that play well for a boundary throw in. So a bit of a lull, particularly in scoring to the left of screen, even though there's a strong breeze towards that end of the ground. Byrne and Gray's about to step back onto the field, as is Taylor, the 2 major ball winners along with Maston. Gray on cue, gets pushed off his kick. Turner tries to step through traffic, holding the ball. Fantastic rundown. So Maston, touch 17, tumbles one up to the paint of forward 50. Into the grateful arms of Urseg. He's been so good in this term, and finds a friendly teammate in Nelson Waite. Exciting prospect. Dinks one over the top to Urseg, looking to break the record for marks this afternoon. Brings it out laterally. Lachlan Riley. They're controlling tempo now on the outer side of the ground. That ball dangerously close to going out of bounds. They've got options in board. This is Fisher. Steps around the would-be tackler. And that man again over the top. That's happened twice now. And surely alarm bells ringing for Gary Moss in the red and black coaching box, because they dodged a bullet last time with the youngster and Thomas Edwards, who we said has kicked 4 straight last week. Hit the post, getting out the back unattended, and does it in the space of just 3 minutes. And surely can't put the mockers on him twice here. And this will be the biggest lead of the evening. Currently stands at 7 points for his first of the afternoon. Thumps it into the Eagles headquarters for his first. And you would probably say against the flow of play, against possession, but that's what happens. Perth pushing numbers forward of the football, and they get bit on the way back, and Edwards losing his defender and kicks 1-1 now for the afternoon.
Yeah, really good pressure there by Swans, and yeah, they've managed to get Edwards' big 2-metre frame in behind the plate. The first shot on goal, bit of a blemish to his what was a perfect goal kicking season at the time, and that's 5 goals won on the season for him. And really impressive start for the 20-year-old. Well,
in just his 3rd game as well, so almost 2.5 games, so a good return. Swan Districts, they have to be close to the tallest outfit in the WAFL for the season 2021.
One down by Swans. Pushing it through the middle. An option on the outside is Beck. Just missed over the top of him. Running towards it is Richardson. Richardson and Beck. Beck collects it. He tries to go over and out of bounds. That might have been holding the ball. Umpire says that he'll have it. Really a lucky break there for Beck, who tried to get over the line and just couldn't against the...
Brent Edmonds just showing just how valuable he is to Perth at the moment. He's kicked 1 today, and he's laid a couple of important tackles and also taken some intercept marks. So
Baldwin couldn't get it out of there.
The 2 nines locking horns. They've had plenty of the footy each. Fisher's up to 18 disposals. Brady Gray's had 11 as well. That goes through the legs. Maston looking for his 18th disposal. Here comes Fisher. Off to Anderson. He's been patched up. And kicks off a step out of play. Another ball in. 18 and 3/4 minutes played. Newtown Toyota scoreboard. Thanks also to Westrel. Go one better with Westrel. KCA Site Services. The live stream today brought to you by Provident Capital Partners. Matt Chechens and Luke Worthington bring you all the action. Ball one down by Baldwin right towards Maston. He was taken around the shoulder. Off to Gray, and he's levelled. Now, these two had a bit to do earlier. Riggio, that was a late hit. Now, Gray, he's a strong body. He's played plenty of footy. Let's have a look, thanks to KCA Site Services. Maston thought could have been taken high and whack. Riggio hits him from the side. Gray straight up on his feet. He's a tough customer. That was a big hit.
Now Gray pushes it forward into a contest, spills out, taken up by Clark, pushing it forward, might trickle over and out of bounds again. It does, just missed over the arms of Casey Nicholas.
Just having a look at Riggio. He's just starting to very casually walking his way back, as Brent Edmonds will go and pay a bit of time with him. Maston now goes and mans up with him. So Gray back on with that tagging role with the number 9 of Swan Districts in Fisher, who has it.
Galt wins that one down for Fisher, pushing it over the head of Clark. He's going to run forward, trying to collect it. Maston with some pressure, collecting it now, the Demons. Collected by College, moved forward well. Now they could be on here, Perth. Big thumping kick forward in the direction of Richardson. Can he get it? And what an intercept mark. Taken there, pushed right out of there. Swan's coming back the other way now. Thumping kick down forward by Galt. Baldwin going up for it. Cipro got a hand to it. Push forward now. Perth with the ball. College. And they switch it out to the far wing. Corey Byrne with it.
How good was that contest?
Unbelievable.
Over there before. You had Jack Richardson running with the flight of the ball and Urseg with his 7th intercept mark. It's ridiculous. Here come the Demons inside 50, up towards the tall timber. Where's the crumbing forwards? Not on this occasion. Little hand pass out the top. It's going to be rushed through. So using his pace, Nelson Waite ushers it through for a minor score. Over the top now. This is Turner. Room to operate, and the Demons player there in Canelio just lost his feet. Now here comes Edwards again, the 3rd time. He is all alone, runs to 40, left foot, it can still bounce through. It doesn't, it skids through, but screaming for the footy almost at the kickoff line was William Reedy, not seen by the youngster. You could see his name in big flashing neon lights.
And it's really only been Edwards of the forwards on both sides. The ball's just managed to stick to him inside 50. No one else has really had the luxury of that really hard defensive pressure, and he's managed to get in behind them quite easily.
Good work from Baldwin right. They link up now through Regan Clark. Does the full 360, back to his ruckman. Left hand, sweeping hand pass. Just stepping around the oncoming traffic there was Davis. Kicks to the contest, up to the debutant. How does he go? He gets pushed off the footy. They bring it back inboard, and Swans again mop up from right half back. Down the broadcast wing, Edwards, another mark. Looks to spear one up towards the paint of 50 and the boundary line, right where it meets. And out of play, 22.5 minutes. Newtown Toyota scoreboard, 2nd term, and it is Swan Districts by a game high, 13 points.
So going up for it again, Galt and Baldwin. Baldwin still holding the advantage. 23 hit-outs tonight, so he smashed through last week's total against Vardy. Galt with 13. Ball goes to ground. Those two will go up again.
I just feel that Swan Districts are starting to assert their dominance with the clearances, so they're managing to shark those taps, particularly with Fisher. He's approaching 20 disposals for the game.
Let's see if the totals go up. Gray works it out of there, collects it straight back. Turner trying to run him down, pushing it through the middle and almost into the safe hands of Richardson. Ball spills along the ground.
Again. And he might get a free kick.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that is superb. I mean, you have a look at Ursag. He's had 6, maybe 7 intercept marks, left his opponent to be the 3rd man up, then won it at ground level. He has been outstanding in this term. So is this man. Fisher just steps around the flat-footed Maston and spears one up towards full forward, out the back. Kind roll of the football. Riggio goes bang. He's 2nd of the afternoon after levelling Brady Gray just 5 minutes earlier. And that was rather fortuitous, but Perth again get bitten on the rebound football. Take a bow, Urseg started that rebound across from centre half back as Riggio comes out. But have a look at the KCA Site Services replay. Straight through 3 defenders to Riggio. And no chance for Brent Edmonds, who's basically only providing the lone hand across half back at the moment for the Perth Demons. Would you agree?
Third time they've been caught out behind the play in the defensive 50. And Perth, and it's, Riggio bringing that one home, the 2-time best and fairest. Drafted by North Melbourne and put on their rookie list nearly 16 years ago now. And he's still got it here for Swan Districts, kicking his first of the night. Baldwin and Galt manages to get that one. Tapping it down, you might be right, Matt. Swan Districts might be getting the hit-out advantage as it swings a bit more towards Galt. Goal on a ground, he might be gone. The crowd thought so, and they were correct. Holding the ball is the call on Cipro. And now punched forward by Perth. Almost a strong overhead mark taken there. It'll be pushed along the ground. Bayok nearly collects it. Trying to pick it up was Hunter. And that will be a free kick for Swan Districts.
So you have a look at Tony Knott. It's just been pushed backward now into defence. So a bit of experience.
Putting their captain
I've loved
back
the
there.
way that Swan Districts have defended this term, because they haven't allowed Perth to get the ball over the top. They've led beautifully by Urseg. Here comes Swan Districts through. Reedy sweeps the hand pass over the top. Vacant square at the moment for Jones, but he elects just to come in board and finds the hottest boot in the WAFL, because this will be disposal number 22 for Samuel Fisher. And this could really put some daylight between themselves and Perth as we tick over 26 minutes on the Newtown Toyota scoreboard. Well, he's coming off a fast bowler's run-up. The ball magnet off the long run. 4 slips and 2 gullies with this run-up. Spears it through. His first. And his first of the season. 33 disposals last week. Gets reward on the scoreboard. 22 disposals. Go along with that, 5 inside 50s. So they're doing it all at the moment. Swan Districts into a bit of a stiff breeze. It is starting to die down if you have a look at the trees on the outer side. And
it's going to be warmer too.
Beautiful technique. Came from the clouds to win the Sandover medal last year. Only the 10th player in the history of the Swan Districts Football Club to do so.
And if you want to put one of your better taggers on him in the midfield, he'll find a way to get inside 50 and collect it like he did just then. And
Gray, I think, has done an admirable job, but he has won his own football as well. I mean, he's had 14 disposals and 5 tackles, so it's just Perth not getting deep enough forward 50 entries. It's just very shallow, and they're putting too much air on the football too, allowing Urseg to just pick them off. So they're bringing out laterally. Good vision again from Anderson, this time spotting Lachlan Riley. So he just steps around the player on the mark to a 2-on-2. Sinclair's one of them, gets his right fist through the footy. Up towards Riggio. Can he keep the ball alive? Almost onto the knee there of Sinclair, and the boundary umpire. And our field umpires have been outstanding this evening, a boundary throw-in. In fact, they're just conferring. It could be out of bounds on the full. You like to see them, the 3 of them, just getting together. Even bringing in the goal umpire.
Looks like it'll be a
throw-in. Yep. So 3 pairs of eyes. What does that make? 6? Ball in. The Demons really do not want to concede a late one here, particularly with Swan Districts having that breeze in the 3rd term. There's a hold. Going the way of Swan Districts. So in from the throw-in, it's going to come to Galt, I think it is. Was impeded. Sinclair not happy. Bayok's lending a hand. So the hold. Baldwin right. He did give away 6 free kicks last week. Tough ass when you come up against Vardy. So Corey Galt makes a lot of it. Hard work at that, and he misses. Deep into time added on. And Swan District's move now to 6-7-43. Perth just treading water since quarter time, 2-5-17. That's brought to you by Newtown Toyota.
Was booted forward out of there by Canelio. And it's going to be taken almost over the line by Gray. Handballed it through to Richardson. Trying to move it through now, the Demons. Mark was smothered down by Waite.
Great tackle.
And a big tackle there.
Marshall
Jones.
Yep. From York. Kangaroos player. Tough competition out there in the Avon Footy League.
Turner holding onto his knee. Taps one down by Galt.
Maybe that's just a corky. We hope it is. They've already lost Jeddah.
Yeah,
we think is a
looks like you might be right.
Hamstring injury. Could just be a little
he's walked
stinger on the end of the knee. They hurt. Almost going with a Lloyd Christmas hairdo there. Dalton Langlet. And that is half time. The second term, utter domination by the Black Ducks. They've extended their lead. Swan District 6-7-43, leading Perth 2-5-17. Perth only managing one behind in that term, while Swan District's piled on the misery, 3 goals 3. And a couple of easy misses as well. So the Demons just within arm's reach, but they want to come out firing in the third term. And Gary Moss will have a lot to say at half time. Well, don't go anywhere. We'll come back, run through the numbers of what the second term brought us. The team dominated by the team in black and white. Thanks to Provident Capital Partners. We'll be right back. Round 2 WAFL action.
Single Aussie, your double whopper cheese.
And my triple whiskey river.
Whopper your way. Choose single, double or triple. And try the new Whiskey River Whopper with smoky barbecue sauce and angry onions. Whopper your way, your taste, your size. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's. Try Hungry Jack's Grillmaster's new premium pulled beef with thick, juicy flame-grilled Angus and smoky barbecue sauce. New Grillmaster's pulled beef and Angus. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
Better.
Half-time, Mineral Resources Park, round 2 of the OPTUS WAFL season for 2021. Matt Chetchins joining me in commentary this evening at the picturesque Laff Lane Park is Luke Worthington. And Luke, Swan Districts led off the chain. Literally, we saw 3 goals over the back in that term. Perth not able to add a major in that second term, and Swan Districts with a very handy lead as we approach half-time.
Yeah, just some absolutely incredible pressure by Swan Districts there on both ends. They wouldn't let Perth move it forward. Perth tried everything. They tried slowing it down, switching the play. Could not get through them in any way. Swan Districts led that quarter by Brandon Ursig, who played an absolutely remarkable second term. Had probably 8 or 9 intercept marks, was leading the play from the back, and it was also Thomas Edwards, the young forward, who was helping him along with Sam Fisher. But Thomas Edwards up front was able to get in behind the Demons' defence about 3 times. He was 1 goal 2 for the quarter, and Sam Fisher in the midfield helping them out. So really big performances from some of the Swans youngsters. And so we'll cut now to some highlights of that second term. And there was the big mark taken by Jones.
So thanks to Westrel, go one better with Westrel. Fisher just asserting his dominance around the footy. 22 disposals, he had 10 of those in the second term. This was the early goal for Perth, and we thought, well, they could be on here today, but then That was into a very stiff breeze as well, but you saw Swan Districts just going to kick 3 goals to none in that second term. Now Jeddah, probably the delivery of the afternoon. He has left the ground with a leg injury. We're not sure what it is. Maston's been at the coalface, and have a look at this little play there. Fisher out the back, they link up Riggio. That was his first of 2 goals. And he providing some heavy work around the ground. Brent Edmonds with a rare goal. He's been one of the rare shining lights in the Perth Demons defence this afternoon. Corey Galt providing his agility around the ground. The intercept marking of, as my compatriot Luke Worthington was saying, Urseg. Not sure who's running the numbers today, but they've shortchanged him. They've only got him down for 4 marks. I think he had 4 of those within the first 5 minutes, but
might have to have refreshed by now.
He has been instrumental.
Yeah, no, still 4 marks.
Two goals in the first term to this man in Palmer. What an addition he's been from the VFL. But Perth just having to blaze away in defence. Swan District's definitely more composed. That was a great mark. Edmonds featuring again, moving back comfortably off the ball up towards the debutant for Perth this afternoon. That's Jordan Reid. And as we see another hand pass received, Fisher, he just seems to have so much time on the football. Bit of an unrealistic attempt at the mark there, but you felt in the early stages of that second term, Swan Districts weathered the storm. And no pun intended, because we know that there's one coming towards the Perth metro area. But if you have a look, Perth rebounded well across half back, and they've been serviceable disposals from Matthew Taylor across half back. Brady Gray's had a good afternoon so far. Around 14 touches, having to try and put the handcuffs on Fisher. No easy task, but it just broke down for him across half forward, and they weren't getting that ball out of the back. And then as soon as Swan Districts had that ball in hand, they were off to the races.
Absolutely, yeah. They really managed to switch it well, Swan Districts on the other end. And you're right, I mean, I wonder what the inside 50 count for the second half would have been, because at the moment it stands at 28-19 for Swan Districts, and I imagine much of the advantage was gained. Now we've
mentioned Fisher at nauseum this afternoon, but Cipro and Anderson have also been influential. Anderson with 3 inside 50s, as does Cipro, and then Aidan Clark as well with 3 inside 50s. Great little passage of play here from some of the youngsters, but then Reedy got a little bit cute here and elected to play on, and that cost them a set shot at goal. But like the work there of the young number 2 and Nelson Waite, just his 10th game in the WAFL. Casey Nicholas. I haven't seen much of Dalton Langlands. He had a promising debut last week and haven't really seen much of him today. No doubt he'll come out and look to fire up in the third term. So the halftime margin, it was just 1 goal at quarter time, but then Swan Districts have opened up a very, very handy break at the main change, and they lead the Perth Demons 6-7-43 to Perth 2-5-17. Well, thanks to Kia, let's take a look at the work WA Female State Academy coach Bo McDonald has been conducting to strengthen the talent pathway for female football here in WA.
For me, I'd finished uni at Deakin University in Melbourne, and after that point I was ready for a new challenge. I'd spent 2 years at Frankston Football Club, and Perth is something that's always interested me, and I come over here to see what it would be like to work and live here, and 7 years later here I am.
I loved everything I had going on in Melbourne at the time. I was playing footy at a great footy club, Frankston, and loved that, so it was a really tough decision. But yeah, when I came and met and saw the club, and having Lockie here obviously made it a lot easier to move, and I'm really rapt I did. It was a great choice that I made at the time.
We've been ingrained in the culture here that's been set well before we arrived, and the big thing for me is the written or unspoken fabric of the club, the standards that they hold.
Yeah, I think it brings everything together. So in terms of the professionalism of the place is second to none, the club culture and the inclusiveness of the place, and I think Subi, what it does really well is combines those things together, and I think that's the real charm about the place.
Yeah, state footy is a huge honour. Just growing up in Victoria to one day pull on the big V and not being able to do it, moving to WA, it was always high on the bucket list, and every year it comes around. you're sort of scratching yourself, hoping you're going to make that team and represent the state. Probably a highlight for us is when we did beat the Big V and put them into retirement.
That win in Victoria after not beating him for 70 years, that was huge to be a part of and celebrated appropriately, and then the one the following year in South Australia was huge as well, so it's something that we're really grateful that we get to be a part of. So really thankful for the support that Kia provides that to continue to keep going.
The benchmark of the WAFL goes back to back. One of the most emphatic performances in recent grand final history.
That tag of being hunted is one of two ways you can approach it. You can be fearful of it, or you can embrace it and realise that every game is an opportunity for either team to win, and if you're not desperate enough, you can slip away really quickly. So it's a good way for just continuing to hone your skills and make sure that you're ready to go every week, because if you're not, someone's going to get your number.
I hereby declare Lachlan Delahunty from the Subiaco Football Club winner of the 2019 Sandover Medal with 28 votes.
Yeah, it's a huge honour, and it's a whirlwind of a week to see the players that have won it before me, and to be a part of that sort of history now and the Sandover family was an incredible experience and something that I'll certainly value forever.
It's a little bit cliche, but it really is a huge honour to be captain of Subi Footy Club and a club like this. When you look about the men who have come before me and held this position, you know, they're really well respected guys in the community. If I can have anything near the sort of impact those guys had on their playing group and the club going forward, then I'll be really proud of what I've been able to add to Subi Footy Club when I do hang up the boots.
And now Delahunty, the Sandover medalist, has to finish it. Will he? Can he? Oh, that is the play of the year! Outstanding, Subiaco.
This footy club is, for us, is like our family, being away home from Victoria. I think it's fair to say that for both of us. They've embraced us, we've embraced it, and being a part of it is a big part of why we're here.
Sort of pinch yourself every time you pull on the jumper, because this is a moment in our life that we're cherishing and enjoying, and something we'll never take for granted.
Live pictures from Mineral Resources Park here in Laff Lane, WA. The lights are on, the kids are out trying to get a touch of the footy. Lachlan Delahunty, what a superb player he was for Subiaco, and Lee Kitchen, our half-time feature there, as some of the youngsters getting a couple of hard ball gets, and the team in black and red will need more of those. And the second half action right around the corner. When we come back, we'll go over some of the results for round 2 of the WAFL Optus round 2 season for 2021. We'll be right back.
Try Hungry Jack's Grillmaster's new premium pulled beef with thick, juicy flame-grilled Angus and smoky barbecue sauce. New Grillmaster's pulled beef and Angus. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's. Better.
Single Aussie, your double whopper cheese.
And my triple whiskey river.
Whopper your way. Choose single, double or triple and try the new Whiskey River Whopper with smoky barbecue sauce and angry onions. Whopper your way, your taste, your size. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
Half time. You're on the live stream. Thanks for joining us through Facebook, through the various club websites and league websites. Matt Chechens and Luke Worthington bringing you all the action. Thanks to Provident Capital Partners, Newtown Toyota and Westrel. Go one better with Westrel, and KCA Site Services. Wonderful supporters. Must thank Front Row Screens. Wonderful supporters of local football here in WA, not only in the men's competition, but their pioneering work in the women's competition. As we have a look at the kids getting out there. You'd love to see this. Packed house almost this evening. Perfect conditions here at Laff Lane.
Yeah, almost no room left on the field at the moment. Some good footy down there from the young kids.
So our final game currently for the Optus WAFL round 2 And we have a look at all of the games played at 2:10 p.m. earlier this afternoon at New Choice Homes Park. East Fremantle looking to go 2-0. Stumbled at home. They went down to Subiaco. 12-14, 86 to the Sharks, 8-5, 53. So that margin, 33 points for Subiaco. Clearly a little blip for them in the shortened season last year after their dominance of local football in the last decade, missing out on the finals action last year, but they lost so many key players. They've started the season 2-0 and look to be again one of the teams to beat in the early stages of this season. At Leederville Oval, East Perth, a day to forget.
Ouch.
It must be said. Peel, 24 goals, 10, 154, defeating East Perth 7-7-49. That margin, 105 points, moving the Royals to zip and 2. And Peel bouncing back after a loss last week. That's a massive win.
Yeah, absolutely enormous from Peel. Thunder really impressive to see them come flying out of the gates with some new additions into that side. And
the replay of the 2020 Grand Final went the way of Claremont, getting revenge of sorts. The Tigers at home at Revo Fitness Stadium, 17-6, 108, defeating South Fremantle 13-14, 92. So that margin 16 points. Paul Persick bringing you all the action there in Claremont. Now they move to 2-0, the Tigers. My tip to win the flag. Who do you like early stages? I'm going to put you on the spot, Luke.
Yeah, I mean, not to ride your coattails, but I really do like Claremont. I think last year was some serious heartbreak for them. They were really in prime position. We watched a lot of their games throughout the field. One's at home, one's away, and they were just outstanding that whole season.
But South Fremantle, they got the reward. I mean, clearly the best team throughout the season. They dropped to 1-1 rather to start the season, and then a game up at Splendid Park. Sounds enticing, doesn't it? That's up in Yanchep. And West Perth with a thumping win over the West Coast Eagles. Not a good day for them because they went down to St Kilda in the AFL today. But West Perth 19-6-120 to West Coast 6 goals 6-42. So some big wins. That was a 78-point margin. West Perth moved to 1-1 and West Coast to zip and 2. So Frank Anderson on screen commencing his warm-ups. He's had an impact. 5 tackles today, 16 disposals, 3 marks and 3 inside 50s. Couldn't hit the scoreboard, just the one behind, but he's providing an able hand to Sam Fisher, who just joined us. 22 disposals in that first half, along with 4 tackles. So he's not just an outside runner that likes to feed off the crumbs. As we have a look at young Cipro as well. It took a little while to get into the game, but his slick work around the ground. He's had 11 touches, but 3 of those have been inside 50. So a bit of a 3-prong attack at the moment that the Demons have to try and quell at half-time.
Really good performance by Cipro tonight. One of the more consistent midfielders in the competition. Really big-bodied, gets in the contest. He averages 18 disposals he averaged 18 disposals in 2020, but never dropped below 15. So always really consistent in these situations. And then here he is tonight with his 11th disposal coming before half-time.
Yeah, very, very handy addition from Upper Swan. He had a Guildford Grammar as well, just his 29th game. So they're blooding a lot of these younger players and getting games into them. And I had a few concerns coming in, early stages of this season with Swan Districts. You have a look at their record over the last couple of years, Luke. Obviously struggled across the years. If you have a look at some of the numbers and their depth in particular. So if you have a look at 2019, their league team went 4 wins, 14 losses. They finished last. The reserves finishing 7th, and their Colts team finishing 5th in 2019. 2020, we moved to that shortened season. The league missing out on finals again. They finished 3 and 5. The reserves finishing dead last, 1 win, 5 losses and a draw. And their Colts finishing last. They had a big win today. So if you have a look at the last 2 seasons in the league, 7 wins, 19 losses. And the club as a whole, 23 wins, 55 losses and a draw. But you can clearly see, I know we're only halfway through, they were competitive against the grand finalists last year in Claremont last week. But they've seemed to have turned the tables. And some of those younger players, even Bayok, some of these younger players that they're blooding through, young Reedy as well, that's going to hold them in good stead. You'd expect them to climb the table this season.
Yeah, absolutely, and they've always got some good, really good young, talented footy players on that side consistently throughout the last decade, and it's never really translated into consistent performances.
If you have a look at what they lost as well, I mean, Granger Barris, I know he's been injured, but he was picked up by the Hawks in the draft. Toby Watson going over to Fremantle. George Hampson was a big one, a 3-time best and fairest at 3 different clubs. Played a handful of games for Swan Districts, but again, you take that out. And then Stephen Payne, a legend of the club. So they lost a bit coming out, but there's good signs for them at the moment. And right on cue, there they are. The younger brigade is Bayok there, and Jackson Beck, just his 14th game at Bassendean Junior Football Club. And we've absolutely loved the work of some of the other players in. Well, they brought Chris Jones in, obviously, as well. But then you're having a look at Urseg in just his 26th game. Looks to be a good intercept mark as well. So, and then you throw in some of the experience and the Victorian recruits. I think things are on the up down there in Bassendean. And Perth have lost some young guns too. I mean, Logan McDonald, what a sensation he was last year, and looks to be able to carry that form into AFL level. And then also Nathan O'Driscoll, who only played a couple of games, but very promising player. Obviously got picked up by the Dockers, but I think the Demons have made some good additions this year with Dalton Langlands. You got Lurch from East Fremantle, Josh Smith coming over from the West Coast Eagles, and Oscar Bird, which we haven't seen yet, but some talent coming through. How will the Demons respond? They've got it all to do. 24 points the margin. Rogers will look to set the tone, you would think, around half back. Nice little work inside to Fisher. 25 disposals now. They bring it in board up towards Frank Anderson. His 4th inside 50 of the day. Good mark.
And that might have been holding the man if he hadn't have taken that in. What a mark in that contest by Christopher Jones.
Chris Jones. And he was the other one that I was looking at before. Just his 2nd game. He kicked one last week. He's yet to kick one this afternoon.
Jones signed for Port Melbourne in the VFL before the 2020 season was shut down. Came across for his first season in the WAFL. Travelled from 2018 to 2020 before making that signing. And here he is from just inside 50. It sails to the right-hand side.
Yeah, pretty handy player, as we said. And also Box Hill, where he won a VFL premiership back in 2018. And it's a pretty, very, very strong competition now, particularly that NEFL has merged with it. So here come the Demons. They look to set up again from full-back. That's a high ball up towards the tall. Timber, rising tall, was not. Off the ground there by Rogers. Gains 20 metres down the broadcast wing. Great work. Nelson Wade, another young gun in game 10. That's a good kick too, and a good mark. It's all coming up roses at the moment for Swan Districts. In the hands now of Aidan Clark. Kicked a goal last week. They move it laterally. They look to set up now. That 2-goal advantage to the left of screen basically non-existent now. Here comes Riggio. He's got 2 goals. Looking for 3rd. And he's done it. He's providing to be the goal sneak. He's got 3 goals. 1 in every term. Leading by example. That is a polished finish on the run. What Perth couldn't do in the 2nd term, Swan Districts do it easily. They rebound from half back. Riggio, that's just experience, burning off Sinclair. That's no easy task. And from a tight angle, on the run, if you don't mind.
And Riggio has been unbelievable in this game. The 2-time Swans best and fairest. Averaging 20 disposals a game in his career. Hasn't hit that average in his last few games, but a really big performance in the forward line tonight by Riggio, and that is his 4th of the night, isn't it? Or the third.
Well, his first touch of the game came very late in the first term, so even though he's not getting much of the leather, he's providing to be a really good foil up front. That's Galt winning down his own tap up towards centre half forward. Was that touched on the way out? It's not going to matter. Ball pitches awkwardly. Oh, you don't want to see that. Player getting tunnelled. And Jesse Turner, I don't think there was any malice in it, but the young bloke wants to get on with it. You could almost see it happening because the Perth player was streaming in for the footy. And the Perth faithful right in front of us, they are not happy. So that was Jai Clark, just his second game of waffle footy, and he took a bit of exception to it. If you have a look at the replay, the big high up and under, KCA Site Services, and have a look in just his second game, and Turner, maybe there was something in that. He sped up, he did put his hand out at the end. We don't know, we're not mind readers, but you don't want to be seeing that, particularly from a young player who courageously leaves his feet to try and get the football. So here come the Demons. Can they hit back on the scoreboard? Rogers on the lead. Well sport from him. Ursek jars the footy loose. Back to Rogers. Good luck trying to take him down to the tackle. Edmonds into the pocket. Shooting his eyes from the bright lights of Mineral Resources Park is Marshall Jones. Handy around the big sticks. 10 goals last season. Said earlier in the call, hails from the York Roos. That is a lovely place to call football out in York. Lovely facilities out there in the wheat belt. He's kicked 2-2 on the season. In his 43rd game. Sprays it across the face and scrapes through for a minor score. So Perth finally hit the scoreboard, but only the one behind. Swan Districts through the boot of Riggio have a 42-point lead.
Goal almost found in the, yes, he was found in the back pocket. Heavy pressure there by Clark, who tried to intercept it across his body, kicking it forward and pushed out of bounds by Reedy.
In fact, sorry, I need to correct myself, 33 points that lead. Those that can't do teach, apparently.
So play ready to get back underway after Reedy pushed that one out. It was Reed that he took it off. Taps one down by Galt, nearly found Bayok. Ball gets pushed, pinballed around, taken in by Bayok. Bayok
that could be holding
in.
it. Ooh. Tell you what, the umpire feigned to go with the holding the ball, but
I thought he might not have had the best view of that from the other side. But yeah, Bayok dragged that in. Umpire brings it in for the ball up. Tap one down by Galt one more time. Pushed out of there by Fisher. Finding Bayok now. Bayok handing it forward for Anderson. Anderson looking for options. They're going to swing it out wide. Ball taken by Beck. Swings it out even further. Kick inside 50. They could be a chance here, Swan Districts. Ball gets palmed down to the ground. Just missed the kick. Demons trying to work it out of there now. Ball just bounces near Giblet. Moving it forward now, Perth. Here's Davis. Swings it through the middle. The mark will be taken. Handballed across. Now Perth could be on here as they kick it in. Can they get it behind the plate?
Oh, it's down the ground. It's down the ground, and rightfully so. So the Perth player getting dumped after he kicked it. There on the fly was Regan Clark, and he was dumped. So it's going to be down the ground, rightfully so.
Or is Reed taking a shot from in front? Might have been 50.
No, it was down the ground.
Right.
Yep. So Regan Clark burst through the middle of the ground, and after he kicked the ball, he was
got it. Yep.
Met with two hands in the middle of his back, and a chance for Jordan Reed on his debut to goal. And he does. Demon supporters, we haven't heard them for a little while, but they get around the youngster.
21-year-old from Mount Barker.
Good on him too. Bit of ink on the left calf as well. Good to see. KCA Site Services. And one to treasure, and hopefully a long career for the youngster. So a bit of ill discipline from Swan Districts. We saw Riggio lay out Gray in that second term. We then saw Jesse Turner upend another younger player from the Demons, and then we see Regan Clark get dumped, and then that cost them a goal. So let's see if their discipline can flip around. Otherwise, Perth will look to capitalise. But better signs now for the Redlegs. 9 scoring shots to 15. They've still got all to do, but I tell you what, they were in good nick last week, and coming off a season where they finally broke that long drought. 1997 was their last appearance, and the only reason I know that's because I went to watch the game and I was 17 years old. Here comes Swan Districts up to a 2-on-2. Oh, another good mark. I mean, Perth are blessed with some fantastic defenders at the back. And that was just a good, strong mark taken by Christopher Jones. So from the Box Hill Hawks, just 3 years ago, won a VFL premiership in the AFL Reserves competition. And that's a poor miss out to the right. I mean, Clayton Giblett there, he's a strong defender. They got some silky ball users too in Taylor and Sinclair, one of the greats, you could probably say now, the Perth Demons. Out they come again. Nicholas with a high up and under, brought down to ground level. The Swans player dropped it there. Anderson, he got away with it. Good pressure now. So better signs now for Perth. They've got a bit of a spark about them now. Looking to bite off the little kick in board. They do so. And they'll look to run across half back. By hand this time to the flat-footed player, but strong through the hips was Austin Davis. Transfers play out towards the outer side. Long leaping hand pass. Maston, can he assert himself now in the game? Back in board with a hand pass to Giblett. They link over the top. Nice little feint and go. This time by Byrne. One bounce. Goes through the middle of the ground. Lucky bounce this time. Can they set it up? Swinging onto the left boot now is Clark. Up to the kickoff line. Is that mark taken in defence? No, but Tony Knott does well to just rush it through. So definitely better signs, Luke Worthington, for the Perth Demons in this early stages of the third term.
Yeah, and a good play by Knott there, moving down to the back pocket. Stevens with the footy now. Swans slowing things down a little bit. Running forward, booting it up the left wing. And a good strong mark taken there. And the Demons right back in this one. Here's Casey Nicholas.
South Perth product.
Become a bit more involved in the third quarter. Nicholas pushing it in. Could they be a chance here? Ball gets tipped forward, picked up,
oh, he
and
didn't have it,
collected in
Rogers.
front. Almost snapped it around the body, handballed it down. Crowd wanted ball.
Well, I'll tell you what, Swan District's lucky because Rogers was slung without the footy and then they dropped it. Let's hope that doesn't cost them.
Chipped forward by Clark.
Oh,
nearly
great work
by Galton. Great work there by Perth. Ball collected by Cipro. Pushed it across for Riggio. Pushing it inside 50 and the mark's taken by Lachlan Riley. Is he going to look for options or back himself? He chips it over the mark. And they'll move further down the 50 after the mark was taken by Aidan Clark.
Yeah, nothing Sinclair could do, obviously, standing the mark and then some sort of lax defending in the end. But look, not going to harp on the umpires because they have a tough job, but they did miss two there, and then the rebound footy could cost them a goal.
So, ready for a set shot on goal. Aidan Clark, the 22-year-old, sorry, out of Bunbury, kicks it on the left foot, straight through the middle, and Swan Districts extend their lead. 8 goals, 9, 57. They lead the Demons 3 goals, 7, 25 under lights at Lathlane Park.
Now, a bit early in the game to be pulling out the long bow with that celebration. The product of the Bunbury Tigers. Nice finish on his left boot. Missed one earlier this afternoon and then gave it to a few in the crowd. If we have a look. So manages to put it through and then draws the long bow. As we said, very early in the piece to be pulling out the Xavier Dersma. So goal for goal in this third term, and that took a bit of the wind out of the sails for Perth. Could have been having a shot on goal at the other end with the ground through Rogers, but the free kick wasn't there for him. Curtis Snadden to thump the ball back into the bullseyes. Perth need back-to-back goals. I think they've managed it all afternoon. Fisher. They link up. Ball in the hands now of Waite. Does so and just pops it over the top. Anderson stoops, brings it back inside to Waite. Waite has to step around the oncoming defender. They recede ground through hands. Dinks over the top. That's a poor kick. Chopped off. Demons look to bring it inboard. Edmonds screaming for the footy in the corridor. Hasn't been seen, unfortunately. This is where we saw a bit of stagnant ball movement. Let's see if they can rectify it. And they do play that horseshoe brand of footy. Gray, one of the best on ground so far. Spearing ball. Room to operate. Edmonds goes down the line with his kick. And stepping into the hole and earning one in the back of the rib cage is Tony Knott. brings it inboard. Swan Districts just looking to take a bit of the air out of the footy. Ball in the hands now of Braden Noble. Haven't caught him too many times. Waite calls for it, receives. Chips over the top. Slowly building now, William Reedy. Flashes of brilliance in that second term. That's a good kick. That could be almost 50. No, the umpire lets Cipro get on with it. Great ball over the top and running into the open square. Soccering it through. Johnny on the spot, Jesse Palmer. So another chaos ball over the top. Perth gets stung out of the back, and now Palmer has become another multiple goal kicker. He's got 3 for the afternoon alongside Riggio. And have a look at this delivery. Cipro, we mentioned him at half-time. And
I thought the defender got a hand on that.
Casey Nicholas was valiantly trying and save the situation, and unfortunately it just bounced through. And the easiest of tap-ins for Jesse Palmer. 6 goals. 6 goals, 1 on the season. Wow. The new recruit. So it's getting a little ugly now. The Demons will want to kick a glut of goals as they're making quick changes from this ball up. Racing forward inside 50. Now the umpire's going to give them a warning, I think, because they weren't set up correctly. And Regan Clark, I think, knew that situation. Managed to get into centre half forward. Not sure if that was an official warning. Had a good game last week, Regan Clark. 9 marks in that win over the West Coast Eagles.
What can they do here now, the Demons? Snapping it into the forward 50. Reed went up for it. Ball crumbed off the ground. Pushing it forward, and a strong intercept mark is taken by Swan Districts. Moving it out of trouble, not quite.
Yeah, what on Casey Nicholas? He's had a good third term. Yep.
Really strong Casey Nicholas, but that kick, maybe we spoke too soon, and it's Brady Gray who tried to move it out of trouble. Couldn't get the kick off. Maston collected it, pushing it out wide now for Reedy. Swan Districts moving it across the left wing. It's Fisher. Plays a bit of 1-2 with Reedy, who takes a bounce and moves it forward. Reedy off the right boot, tries to push it to Bayok at the top of the 50. Ball gets smothered down. Bayok nearly collected it. And it's handed over out of bounds.
Zach Hill. That was very good for a young man, that he managed to just backpedal and get back to that contest and slap it out of bounds, because Swan Districts are again over the top. So better defending that time from the Demons.
Ready again. Galt almost collected it as it bounced up. It's going to be collected by Turner.
That has to be holding the ball.
Goes to ground, and it does. Yep, he's gone.
He's besieged.
So giving Turner a bit of extracurriculars is McPartland, possibly after the hit before, you would imagine. They swing it back, Perth.
Oh, they've hemmed themselves in now because there's nothing across the ground. So
yes, and now look at Swans rushing in.
And now they're going to have to kick dangerously across the goal face. Oh, that's all from McPartland's risky kick, biting it off back inside defensive 50.
Bailed them out of trouble, Giblett. Really good pressing there from the Swans, who have put the clamps on, and now here they are with the footy at the top of the 50. Just managed to get it out of the tackle was Clark, collecting it off the ground and pushed across to Anderson, who just spilt it. Might be gone.
Well, I think I heard a whistle. Maybe the umpire was just thinking ahead of the play and thinking that mark was going to be taken. So no prior opportunity. There was a bit of confusion. Perth need to win this clearance. Galt wins it down towards Riggio's kick 3. This has been a feature of their play this afternoon. Little receding ground with the hand passes, and as they go through again now, Riggio inside 50. Good spoil on the football. Brings it down to ground level. In goes Sinclair, lending a heavy hand. Fires off a little hand pass. Sinclair again, overran the footy this time. Falcon there for the Swan Districts forward. Perth, now there's a hold off the ball, and it's going the way of the Demons. Advantage paid. So it was Bayok, the man that was impeding his opponent. Chest mark taken now by Regan Clark. He's come to life in this third term. Bit of an awkward ball there, bouncing at the feet of Richardson. Did well. Applied a little bit of pressure back into the middle of the ground, and Palmer. Contested mark in front of Byrne. Brings it into the corridor. Galt Galt moves it out wide. This is Waite onto the right boot, out to Bayog. Too far out to score, you would suggest, so he just stops, props and dinks it over the top. Uncontested mark, and they'll get a set shot at goal.
Anderson lining up for it. Had a big round one. Backed it up again tonight. Really stellar performance. 23 disposals. This for his first goal of the night. Laid 6 tackles tonight as well.
Had 26 touches last week too against Claremont.
Pushed it inside 54 times tonight too. So really good start to the season for Anderson. Can he add a goal to the tally? From 48. Now and it hits the post. Unlucky for Anderson. Would have increased a great start to his season. The 23-year-old from the Northern Blues. Perth trying to work it out of here one more time. Haven't had much luck with it in this third term. Almost made it over the top, and an intercept mark is taken. Held down on the ground was Palmer, who boots it back inside 50. What can the Swans do here? Going up for it, Bayok. And he might have been gone there, nearly just got the handball out. They swing it across and the ball gets pushed forward and through the right-hand side of the post, over the top of the pack.
Swan Districts have done a good job of busting through some tackles today, and Perth have some very accomplished campaigners in that area of the game. McPartland looking back inside defensive 50 where he went before. Fans urging him not to kick backwards, so instead goes down the line up towards Baldwin right, but it goes over his head, but fortuitously. Jaden Hunter, very bright future this man. We saw his goal in the first term. He's got a good leg on him. Kicks up to a one-on-one. Is there a hold? There is, and it's going the way of Swan District. So to Urseg, plays on, transfers play across Mineral Resources Park to Reedy. Bites off a little one there, and in the hands now of Hayden Clark. Turner now in the middle of the ground, spots Fisher. Strong contested mark in front of Gray. Originally from Canberra, started with the Canberra Demons in the NEFL before going to the Northern Blues. He was in the VFL Team of the Year in 2019, the year before taking home the Sandover medal. Back in board. Now Swan Districts can afford this game style now, which is what Perth did last week, the kick mark game, because they've got a big lead. So Ursek can load up. His first forward 50 entry is a stray one, straight down the throat of Casey Nicholas. Now he's been pretty good in this third term. Out to Maston, he's gone a little quiet. 22 minutes ticked over. The Newtown Toyota scoreboard, Matt Chechens and Luke Worthington, courtesy of Provident Capital Partners, bringing all the action from Mineral Resources Park. A little hand pass over the top of Byrne. Has to stop, prop. Moves it back towards the outer side. Now a lead in towards the pocket, but over the head of the intended target there, and Jack Richardson just not getting the service. And a sigh of disappointment, but a stoppage for the Demons. Let's see what they can muster.
9-11-65, the Swans lead Perth 3 goals, 7-25 on the Newtown Toyota scoreboard. Inside 50. What can they do here? They need to get one back on the scoreboard, the Demons, but no, it's going to be pushed out of there by Riggio into the middle. And all alone, not the intended receiver, was Canilio. Booting it inside 50 now. Perth, and a strong intercept mark taken at the back by Ursig one more time. Here's Turner booting it out of there, down onto the wing. It'll be taken by Jones. Jones has a couple of options, and he looks for Waite on the outside. Waite moving it through the middle. Backtracking. And he finds Beck, who moves it right out of there, tries to push it off the left boot. And Perth will take that one. through Casey Nicholas, very involved third term as we mentioned before, pushing it back for Hill. Chipping it through the middle, he finds Chris Maston.
That's just his 4th touch of the third term. Had 19 to half time, Chris Maston. He's got 23 now.
He might have been held there as the ball gets pushed through, collected by Howard. Contest for the footy. And play on, says the umpire. Swans with a bit of an advantage here. What can they do in the 50? Ball gets tipped up in the air. Collected off the ground, pushed forward.
Reedy.
And Reedy gets it. Swans extend their lead.
Well done, Corey Gold. Kept that contest alive. And then Reedy, such a live wire. But going back, it was Fisher that was met by Byrne off the ball. It was slung in the tackle. Let's have a look here.
Perth were really caught flat-footed on the advantage.
That was Braden Noble, sorry, with the handiwork. 15 and the 12 looks similar from up here, but that was well done from Noble. I haven't seen much of him this afternoon, and Reedy, he goes from 0 to 60 kilometres an hour just so quickly when he puts his foot down, and getting the reward there. But Fisher was dealt with off the ball by Byrne. The advantage was rightfully paid, and unfortunately for Demons fans, another goal for Swan Districts.
And a great first game back in league footy for William Reedy tonight after playing the first
pick
round.
up. Sam Fisher up to 29 touches of the footy, and Anderson with 24. And have a look at Clark, 21 disposals, 11 marks, and 9 marks for Regan Clark in the Demons, playing a lone hand in that department.
Pushed inside 50 by Galt, nearly collected by the Demons. They'll try and take it in. They will.
Or Riggio, he might get a decision
dicey,
out. He did, yeah.
So Swan Districts will have another shot on goal after it was dragged in.
Frank Anderson.
A few extracurriculars.
Yeah, Sinclair and Fisher. That's 2 of the best players in the comp right there, locking horns.
So what can Swans do here to extend their lead?
Well, Riggio, when was the last time he kicked 4 goals in a game?
Big run up, Ready.
Kicked 6 goals for the entire season last year, albeit from 8 games. Can he make it 4?
From 50 metres, Riggio. Distance looks good. Straight through the middle, Riggio. And he's back in 2021, better than ever, the club veteran.
A goal in the first, the second, and 2 in the third term. He's having an absolute field day in front of goals.
And this is the kick here. Ran pretty much right up to the extent of the mark and booted it from right on the 50.
He's had 8 kicks, 4 goals. Talk about using the footy.
Whacked the cover of the footy on that one. Turned 33 last month, Riggio.
Spring chicken.
As we're ready for play to commence again. Galt and Baldwin have had a great battle tonight. Galt getting slightly back into the rucking contest as he wins that one down for Fisher. Moving it around now. Swans have a chance again. Pumping it inside 50. Might have been held. Ball gets pushed out. Collected by Reedy. Reedy kicking it inside 50 once more. It's going to be an intercept mark taken by Perth. They push it out to the right-hand side. Maston collects it. Slowing things down and looking for options. Swan Districts pressuring them heavily. Maston pumps it along the right-hand side into a contest. Reed went up for it. Both of them went down. Kick gets pushed in now and almost collected by Perth. They push it back up to the top of the 50. It's Jones. Jones moving it across. It was taken by Richardson. Richardson goes to ground.
In fact, that was big Matty Rogers.
It was Rogers, yeah.
I just saw under a bit of duress coming off the ground was Jordan Reed throwing his mouth guard as he came over the interchange gates, holding his ribs. So hopefully he's just been winded. It's not a broken rib, but he went back with courage as
Rogers pushed it in.
Yeah, he just turned it over. So they bring it out.
Mark.
Uncontested mark now for Aidan Clark. That will be his 12th mark of the evening. Still got a term to play. Deep into time added on. Goes down the line. Baldwin right. Good attempt, but he couldn't reel in the mark. Kicking off a step now is Canelio. Shallow entry inside 50 again, into the arms of Waite. Waite putting a lot of air under that. Tracking back with one arm. Couldn't take the mark there was Langlands, and they turn it over. So out towards the outer side of the ground. Kicks up towards the lead there of his teammate in Jones. Does well. Kicks to a dangerous area of the ground. Tracking back Taylor, well done. That was an awkward ball to bounce in front of you with two Swans players bearing down. So rushes it through for a minor score. Just ushering the traffic in front of him. You can see now from the widescreen shot up towards Baldwin Wright. Did well. Again, just spilt another mark, but burned with the crumbs. Fed it off by hand to Maston. 6 touches in this third term. Right on the three-quarter time siren as we turn for home. And Swan Districts extend their half-time lead. 11-11. 77 leading the home team, Perth. 3 goals, 7-25. So that margin now out to 52 points. It was 26 points at half-time. And that man on screen in Samuel Fisher, a game high. 31 disposals. And Aidan Clark providing just a lending hand as well. 12 marks for him, along with his 22 touches and 4 inside 50s. Best of luck to the umpires to try and decide the Sandover votes. Well, one term to play here at Mineral Resources Park. And Swan Districts with a stranglehold on this. But I'm sure the Demons won't lie down. 4th term, right after this break.
Single Aussie, your double whopper cheese.
And my triple whiskey river.
Whopper your way. Choose single, double or triple. And try the new Whiskey River Whopper with smoky barbecue sauce and angry onions. Whopper your way, your taste, your size. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's. Family time's more fun when you keep it simple. Take a break with Hungry Jack's new feast bundle. Get 2 tender crisp chicken burgers, 2 Whoppers, 2 cheeseburgers, 18 nuggets, 4 small chips and 4 drinks for $34.95. Only at Hungry Jack's.
Perth Demons in their team huddle, and a new head coach of the Perth Demons and Gary Moss, after a fantastic win in round 1, has got it all to do as he addresses his players at three-quarter time. They've seen a 26-point lead from the Black Ducks of Swan Districts balloon out to 52 points at three-quarter time. And highlights brought to you by Westrel. Go one better with Westrel. And some of the younger crew getting their hands on the footy. Nelson Waite was pretty good in that second term, rather the third term, I must say. Riggio on the scene here. Have a look at this finish, folks. Just wheels off his opponent and Sinclair and threads it through. That was his third. He ended up with 4 goals after a set shot in the closing stages of that 4th term, but it's just been the front on forward line pressure from Swan Districts that's proven to be the difference this afternoon.
Yeah, really high pressing by the Swans, really good pressure when the Demons are trying to clear it out of the defensive 50. They haven't given them an inch. There was that one sequence of play where Perth pushed it back and Swans were on top of it, or on them like a rash, and there's Reid.
Yeah, goal on debut, and he's come off with what looks to be a rib injury. We hope it's just having the wind knocked out of him. Strong mark taken in the forward line. If you have a look at the usual suspects, Fisher's up to 31 disposals. Cipro's been superb. Luke, 6 inside 50s. But I've liked the work rate of Regan Clark of Perth. At this stage in a losing effort, I mean, stranger things have happened, but he's had 14 touches, 5 inside 50s and 9 marks. So he's not taking a backward step. Maston got a little bit of late footy, but he went very quiet in the opening stage of that third term. And it's just been the intercept marking from Urseg, Tony Knott, and their ball use across half-back that's also been a feature
Reed
the
has
team.
become much more involved in the play too.
Yep. And managed to get himself a goal too, and just an easy little toe poke there for the new man in the black and white, Jesse Palmer. He's got 3 this evening. He's got 6 goals for the season. Matt Riggio, 4 goals. And then individual goal kickers for Aidan Clark. Drew out the longbow, a la Xavier Dersman. Samuel Fisher, last year's Sandover medalist, William Reedy, and also Thomas Edwards. And the 3 goal kickers for the Redlegs, Jaden Hunter, Brent Edmonds, and a 4A forward for him. And as we said on debut, Jordan Reed. So a lot there to do for Perth. 2 of the better defenders in the competition in Taylor and Sinclair. And they've had a lot of artillery to deal with this evening, as is Jacob Canelio. Just a barrage of inside 50s. We'll have a look at those numbers. Perth with 30 entries inside 50 to 44, so plus 14 in that department. 23 scoring shots to 10. Well, there's your difference there. Winning the territory battle quite comfortably as Swan Districts. If you have been with us throughout the evening, it's been wonderful to have you. Thanks again to Front Row Screens, and obviously the live stream proudly brought to you by Provident Capital Partners. Just to let you know, we've got no live scoreboard at the ground, so apologies if our scoreboard throughout the evening has been a little skew-if. The wonderful guys in our truck trying to keep abreast of all things, but it's tough to do when we don't have a live scoreboard at the ground. But we can tell you the 3/4 time score, 11-12-78 Swan Districts to 3-7-25. So the final game of round 2, the Optus season for 2021. Earlier wins to Subiaco over East Fremantle by 33 points. Peel by 105 points over the Hapless Royals. 16 points to the Tigers, getting revenge over the Bulldogs. And West Perth overcoming the West Coast Eagles by 78 points. As we have a look at our redundant scoreboard there. Starting to get a little chilly here at Mineral Resources Park. It really is a suburb on the up and rise, because a lot of new cafes have opened in the area. A lot of money obviously pumped into the area with the Eagles. New facilities here is wonderful. As we will start the second term, Baldwin Wright has been superb so far, coming up against the season campaigner in goal. Turner immediately set upon by McPartland. No prior opportunity. We'll have a ball up again. So looking forward to next week, having a look at what's up next on the menu. Perth will have to travel to Claremont, one of the early favourites at Revo Fitness. That's a 2:10 bounce. It's great to have Saturday football back, isn't it?
Absolutely.
At 2:10, and Swan Districts will host the West Coast Eagles, looking for their first win. That's a 2:30 bounce at Steel Blue Oval. Here come the Demons. They're not done yet. Taylor puts them inside 50. Deeper entry this time. That could bounce all the way through. It's still rolling, and it was just touched. Oh, Taylor could have had the 60-metre goal on the run. We were willing at home.
Almost an accidental goal of the year.
Maybe on one eye, but you didn't see me trying to blow that ball forward and through the goals, Luke. As Swan Districts look to set up from the back pocket. Baldwin Wright fist through the footy and pushed off his kick by McPartland. He's come alive in the second half. Manages to earn his team a free kick. It'll come back to Brady Gray. In fact, it will be Gray. He's got Canelio over his right shoulder. Perth have looked to bring the ball out across half back a lot this evening. Kick mark game up towards Rogers. Did well, kept the contest alive. Hand pass into the middle of the ground to Turner. McPartland meets him. Stepping through some heavy traffic there was Cipro. He's been superb. Kicks up to a contest. Well done, Canelio. Brought the footy to ground and won it back. Little hand pass to Sinclair. Was pushed in the back. Riggio, kick 4. Kicks up towards full forward. And that could be a free kick going the way of Chris Jones. As either his arms were taken or held onto. And Christopher Jones, a chance to kick his second of the evening. Just a one-out contest, and not much the defender could do. They have it tough now with these new rules, don't they, the backmen? Other than kicking the ball in with the extra 15 metres to bring the ball in now. So Jones, chance for his second goal. Approaches and pops it through. 58 points now. In fact, 50. How's my maths going? 12-12, 84 to 38-26. KCA Site Services. Replay. Lovely ball drop. And as casual as you like. Enjoying his time over here in Western Australia. A lot of time in the VFL system, and he gets his second of the evening.
Really good start to his WAFL campaign.
Well, 6 goals in 2 games.
Yep. For the 26-year-old. Big intercept marker. Just put up a couple of
Actually, no,
tonight.
He's actually from Royals, my apologies, not from the VFL. Getting confused with Chris Jones. It's all right, it's early in the season, we're allowed to make mistakes.
And the ball gets collected by Baldwin, pushed across, and almost moved out wide. Baldwin with it again, moving it through the middle is Gray, who kicked it inside 50, went up for it, went down to ground, handballing it out of trouble. Swans are going to collect it, trying to push it back and work it out of there. They did. It was a good job to get it out by Beck. Ball sailing in the air, and it'll be plucked down by Jacob Canelio. Has an option on the right-hand side. He'll chip it across into the hands of Nicholas. Involved in the late stage of the game. Booted it inside 50, and that might have been plucked out of the air by Swan Districts. No. Umpire's going to take it. Would have been touched on the way down in that case. So a ball up, Demons in close range. Taps one down by Reed, snapped out of trouble by Swan Districts, and a big mark taken up the top of the 50.
Loved his work today, obviously getting a goal, looking to make that 2.
Now here's Edmonds again, snapping it around. Ball went down inside 10 metres, snap around the body. And it was Richardson whose kick just went to the right-hand side. Would have been a great goal.
Yeah, hasn't really had the clean ball you would expect coming inside 50 this evening. And a good chance there to hit the scoreboard. Couldn't take it, so they bring it in straight down the middle under the chest of Jackson Beck. Beck, in turn, over to Frank Anderson. True centre half back. That's 2 kicks straight down the middle. Out towards Waite. Moves it laterally now. Rogers was lining up his opponent there for the spoil and nurse egg. Good luck. Now towards the outer side. Perth will just look to try and get a bit of momentum into that tough fixture next week. Didn't write them off against the Tigers. They've responded well in the last couple of years after a loss, the Demons. So early stages, and they stood up tall last week in that win against West Coast. That could be a free kick. The Swan Districts player was taken down. We don't like to see that. Kicks up towards full forward. Going to ground there, free kick, hold. This will be a gimme. And another chance for Swan Districts. It'll be Braden Noble, I think, the recipient of the free kick.
Or was it Edwards? No, it was Noble.
Yep. So being held as the ball just went over his left shoulder. Braden Noble kicked 2 straight last week. Had 7 tackles as well, if you don't mind. Gets his first. 63 games of WAFL footy. In fact, it's Jesse Palmer, not the 15, number 5. Oh. We're a long way from the action. That's his 4th.
Caught us on the side angle there.
It is.
Jesse Palmer.
So he kicks.
Getting past his total from last week.
Well, he's kicked 4 now. He matches Riggio. So apologies there to Jesse Palmer. He's had an outstanding game. 7 goals, 1 on the season. And we still await Noble's first goal of the afternoon. We can still credit him for the 7 tackles last week. The TA's man. Ball back in the middle. Thanks again to KCA Site Services. Westrel, go one better with Westrel. Newtown Toyota and Provident Capital Partners. Looking to pile on the misery. Good work at ground level. They intercept again. Bringing it out wide is Anderson. Stray kick. Good mark going back with the flight of the ball. Regan Clark. Double digits in marks this week. Marshall Jones pumps them forward. Up towards full forward. Again, they stand up into the hands of the defender in Clark. Sweeps it out wide to Turner. Turner cleverly around the body to Reedy, and he will run on as well. He wants the hand pass back. He's covered a lot of ground. Good hard running in the fourth term. Turner. Awkward spinning ball on its horizontal axis up towards Riggio. They've all sailed through today. Might as well have a shot from there. Riggio under the left boot, just over the head of Bayok. Perth can mop up. Maston off a step up towards Byrne. Did well to slap it out towards the debutant in Jordan Reid. It's good to see him back out on the ground after taking a heavy knock. And forces another stoppage. Broadcast side. 8.25 minutes travelled. One down goal. That was superb to Anderson. How good was that? Kicks up to a one-on-one. Tough work at the back. Crumbs gathered by the forward in Cipro and couldn't make Perth pay. In fact, that was Thomas Edwards, so kicking around his body, just missing through for a minor score. Perth dodging bullets.
8 minutes 40 of running time gone in this final term. Thumping kick out of fullback, finds its way into the middle, takes a bounce, running onto it. Swan Districts, ball's loose. Maston pushed it forward, went back towards the direction of Richardson, picked up by Gray, who pushes it inside 50, went over the top of everyone. Could be a chance here, Perth, as it's collected by Richardson. He pushed it up to the top of the 50 as he went to ground. Reid collecting it, handballing it forward to Marston. Over on the side of the field is Edmonds, who pushes it in, and that's going to be a mark awarded right in front for Perth, who will need this one. Sinclair bringing that one down. Just lost it in the tackle, but they paid it. 100 games for the club, two-time best and fairest. And he'll have a set shot on goal to give Perth some much-needed momentum, like you mentioned, Matt, heading into next week.
And did kick one last week too, so one of the best half-back players in the competition has been for the last 6 or 7 years. And kind of
across the face of the goal.
His defensive skills there with a miss. Still, what a servant he's been, and what a fantastic player he is.
Clark running it out of fullback, takes a bounce, handballs it over the top. It's collected on the left-hand side by Reedy, pushing it through, and a big thumping kick goes down the left-hand side, and that'll be collected. Oh no, almost a strong mark, but it went out of it fell out of his hands. Perth moving it forward. That one goes out of bounds from Aston. No.
Yeah, so Thomas Edwards picked up by from the Royals, just 73 kilograms, but he's pretty agile. He's kicked 2 goals today. No one elects to go for the ball for the Demons. Now, is that going to be deliberate? It is. So Taylor will get another possession for him. Racked up 10 in the first term. That's his 19th disposal for the game. Henderson wants to move it on quickly. They come busting through the middle of the ground. Out the back to Rogers, one way then the other, onto the right boot, and registers another minor score. So you see when Perth get the ball movement quicker inside and deeper inside attacking 50. I know they've missed a couple of easy snaps. Well, there's no such thing as an easy snap, but they just look better when they ball movement is quicker and not stagnating. Defensive kick up to Reedy.
Probably wouldn't hurt to have one bigger body in the forward 50 as well.
Fraser McInnes was a big out as he's come over from obviously playing last year, but he played for the Eagles as well.
So McInnes out, and then they've lost McDonald to the AFL draft. Significant amount of height taken out of the forward 50 for this round.
It's called that deliberate.
Wow. They are being consistent with the deliberate rule. You can say that at least tonight. But they're calling it time as the ball swung out by Taylor.
Well done, College. Managed to just rope that in.
Yeah. as College collects it again, and he finds a good option in Sinclair, who pushes it into the 50, and a strong mark.
Marshall Jones
taken by Jones. So Jones is going to back himself from a tight angle, about 47 metres out.
Look at the last 5 to 6 minutes, and the Demons have had the upper hand. Obviously, going to record their first loss of the season, but better signs.
So here is Jones, pumps it in from the corner. Distance shouldn't be a problem. No, it just got rushed over the line.
Well, 3 goals, 11. Swan Districts last week, they kicked 14 goals, 1 last week. Very accurate, 13-13. A lot of those have been rushed. Ball to the outer side of the ground. Picked up well by Fisher, sweeps the hand pass. On the second attempt, links up again. Fisher be heading towards 40 disposals. Now there's a one-on-one. How will it sit up? Oh, well read at the back. Jesse Palmer for goal number 5. Misses the lot to the right-hand side. They've got away with a little nudge as well. Shaking his head, but he's had a fantastic evening. This is Riggio. Nothing on option except for Nicholas, and that's where the ball's going to go. He's been serviceable this evening. Very reliant defender, good ball user as well. Umpire gives him the hurry up, does so long and high towards Reed. Looks to step inside, just gets his right boot to the ball, up towards Byrne, copped a shocking bounce. In goes College, well done. Sweeps the hand pass now, off to the run of Jack Richardson's got nothing further forward. Slides off the side of his boot towards Rogers. Slick hand pass over the top, running into the open goal. Eventually they get there through a chain of hand pass, and Dalton Langlands capitalises. So they go from half back, and Langlands gets his first, third of the season. KCA Site Services replay. That was an interesting kick coming in there from Richardson. And have a look at that slick hand pass from Rogers. Off there to Giblet, who
good decision
had his hand pass, was partially smothered, but good composure. And chasing in vain there was Jackson Beck, but Langlands gets his first of the evening. So can the Demons go back to back with their goals? They haven't been able to do so throughout the afternoon/evening.
Perth in need of some momentum, and Swan Districts, it's a percentage booster for them at this point, and maybe they'll need it if they're on the precipice of the top 4 come the later stages of the year. One down by Swans. Good movement in the middle, chipping it over the top. Might have been held. Collects it off the floor.
Oh, well done, Noble.
And it was a great kick around the body by Noble. Went high up into the air, nearly taken down by Palmer. Hits off his shoulder, the footy.
There we go. There is that compliment that we paid Noble before, when it was Jesse Palmer that kicked his 4th of the evening.
No urgency here from Swan Districts. Just have probably about another 13 or 14 minutes of rolling time.
Oh, what a hand
to
pass.
Run out, and I guess a good hand pass over the top for Fisher. He moves it into the middle of the 50. Perth do a good job to collect it. Here are the Swans again. Snap around the body comes from Riggio and misses everything.
Well,
sailed across the face of the goal.
Chances for Palmer and Riggio to hit the 5. Could be in line for a bag.
Running it out from fullback, there was a whistle.
No, it was a free kick. He's paid advantage, but nobody's... In fact, it's going to go down the ground. Oh no, 50.
So umpire sees something behind the plate. Handballs it through for Maston with some momentum. Moving it through the middle now. Perth taking a couple of bounces is Jones. Pushing it forward off the left.
Yeah, great vision.
Mark in the square.
Well done.
Taken by Richardson.
Well, Austin Davis, he was bursting through the middle. Could have easily blasted at the goals. Decided just to lower the eyes and manages to spot a teammate. Relatively easy set shot for goal. Well done.
So Here's the 28-year-old former Claremont Rand Richardson from directly in front. And Perth extend their lead, and Perth get back in this one just slightly, sorry. Adding another one to the tally.
Kicked 9 goals last year. Yeah, Austin Davis just backing himself, ended up with 3 bounces on the run and then just speared the ball to the back of the goal square, and formalities completed. First time in this match that the Demons have gone back-to-back. So Fisher's up to 35 touches, Anderson up to 28. And Perth led in that category by Maston. He has 28 disposals. Brent Edmonds, I think, could almost be best for Perth today.
Nelson Wade been a bit of a silent achiever too. Playing out on the wing quite a bit tonight.
Yeah, 26 touches, and Aidan Clark with 12 marks. Bit of a skew-if bounce, maybe should have been recalled. We'll go again. Fisher laying the tackle on McPartland. Baldwin right, getting his left hand to the ball. Here's Gray, stabs it onto his right boot, inside 50. Could the Demons do back-to-back-to-back? Good tackle from Reid. Prior opportunity there? No, says the umpire. Ben Laycock in on the scene. Approaching 19 minutes. 13-14, 92 to 5-12, 42 now. The Demons, Riggio puts Swans on the attack. Oh, could almost give away 50. Maybe a level above, they might pay that. Christopher Jones finds Bayok in the junction of the 50-metre arc in the boundary line. He's going back with intent here. I think he's going to back himself in. We like to see this from the youngsters. Kicked 1 straight last week from Ellenbrook Junior Footy Club. Here he comes. From a tight angle, and he's hung it out to the right, stayed there out of bounds on the full, but I like young players that want to show their ambition and going for goals.
It's just a bit of shake that one needed. It was a decent kick.
Yeah, had the distance. Lovely kick in to Gray. They're out now. McPartland, the outer side of the ground, can have another bounce. That's his second. Third bounce now, could probably be afforded a fourth. Decides to kick over the top, and just a little shallow. Getting back with the intercept possession there is Lachlan Riley. Keeps the ball alive. Now Swan Districts looking to rebound. Riggio with a bit of candy. In fact, that was Stevens. My apologies. Out to the outer side. Good crowd in attendance tonight. They've witnessed a polished display from Swan Districts and taken their foot off the gas a little in this 4th term, but credit Perth for not throwing in the towel. Something that they managed to arrest was that capitulation in later stages of the 4th quarters that Perth managed to see them break that long drought last year. And even though this will probably just be a little minor blip on their season, they'll still be contenders to go back to the finals. Fisher, a rare error from him, kicking out of bounds on the full. So Nicholas will bring it back into play. Not the 15 required. 2 bounces in succession from Taylor. It's not basketball. Good smother on the footy. It's going to open the door now for Swan Districts. Well done, Perth. Keep their composure, Taylor. Does brilliantly. Sweeps the hand pass to Nicholas. So they can set up from the middle now through Gray. Gray looks to bring it in over the head of Maston. He's got such a wonderful tank, one of the best runners when he was at the West Coast Eagles. I'm sure he's keeping himself in excellent nick. That kick just bounces at the feet of Giblet and out of play.
And hopefully just a small stumble for the Demons. What a great night that was last year when we were able to broadcast the game that saw them make it into the top 4 under lights at Lathlane Park like we are right now. Collecting it out of the packs, Turner handballing it across. Turner collecting it again. Here comes Jesse Turner from the middle, off the left boot, inside 50. And the mark will be taken by Edmonds. Booting it out of there in a hurry. My apologies, here's Edmonds now. as he takes a couple of bounces, running it through the middle, booting it inside 50, deep in. Oh, and a mark is taken by Clark.
Yeah, Rogers just had 2 to beat there in the goal square, so just outnumbered in the end.
Collecting it off the back of the pack is McPartland, pushing it across now. Gray's going to move it inside 50, contest for the footy, and looks like someone might have been held, and much to the appraisal of the Perth Demons faithful, Reid will have a set shot on goal. Another chance for Jordan Reid in his league debut.
Good size, 290 centimetres and 90 kilograms. Looks very agile.
Can he add one more for Perth? He does. So Perth moving their tally up slightly.
Comes the first multiple goal kicker too for the Demons. He's kicked 2, man from Mount Barker. Brent Edmonds, the other goal kicker. Jack Richardson and Dalton Langlands. KCA Site Services replay.
And a strong performance by him tonight. Hopefully many more league games to come. That replay thanks to KCA Site Services, as we're ready to get back underway in the middle. Tap taken by Swans, moved across to Turner, might have been pushed. Umpire says play on. Ball goes to ground. Perth snapping it in off the outside of the boot. Running onto it now. And a big tackle almost by Clark, managed to evade it. And now it's pushed back. Swans moving it into a contest. Over the back of the contest, it's going to be Edwards who picks it up and collects it off the left boot. A bit of an errant kick, goes out of bounds on the full.
Well, it's touched off hands, so the umpire say
unlucky there for Perth.
Edwards had a similar run at the footy in the second term, where he blazed away at goals when he had options in ball, but I think that one was just pushing across his body, and luckily for him it's got a fingernail, so the ball comes in. Colt wins it down at the front. Gray tumbles one to the broadcast wing. Giblett and Rogers link up. Now there's a one-on-one foot race ahead of the footy, and Jack Richardson just outpointed there in defence by Knott. In goes Sinclair, ties it up and forces the stoppage. Well done there from Tony Knott. He was one out against the bigger body opponent in Richardson and managed to win that contest. 6-12-48, 13-14-92. Demons have won this term. Fisher taken without it. McPartland still tackling strongly. Braden Noble will come on, scoop himself off the turf, and will lock horns with Reid in this ruck knock.
Should be just minutes remaining in this one, as it's tapped down, collected by Turner, moved out of there by Anderson, who pumps it forward, and the intercept mark is taken by Canelio. Moving it through the middle for
Interesting
Gray,
decision.
who plays
Gray
on, evades the tackle from Reedy, pushing it in off the right boot, and almost collected it with one hand was Richardson, who pushed it towards the face of the goal, goes through for a behind.
Brady Gray, he has given 110% effort throughout 4 quarters.
Absolutely.
Now marking Anderson, another ball magnet. He's up into the 30s now. Sam Fisher with 37. So out come Swan Districts towards right half back. Players fly over towards Edwards, onto that left boot, up towards Bayok, but it's going to be chopped off. Canelio, awkward kick through the hands of the number 38 in Stevens, tries to butter up. Oh, strong tackle on Jesse Turner, dumped on his head by Byrne. So is still down at the moment. And I'm not sure if we got a replay, but Turner is a tough customer and dealt with one. So they play on. The umpire gets pedantic. We'll want to reset on the mark for Turner. .27.5 minutes ticked over. We can now finally get back to the action. Turner gets very close to the man on the mark. In fact, it was smothered. Fisher inboard, 38 touches now to Turner. Back to Waite, back to Fisher. This could be touch number 40. If he gets it off, he does. Back to Waite, goes with the check side around his body. Keeping the ball alive on the outer side, that was clever. Long linking hand pass over the top to Waite. Will it sit for him? It does. Just steps around the would-be tackler. Perfect vision out the side door. Just saw Noble creeping into some vacant space. Good composure. And will allow him a set shot for goal. Great
Noble for his first of the night. Yeah.
Suffering from a bit of cramp there early in the season. Players have covered a lot of ground tonight. Coolish conditions. 2 straight last week. Can he get his first? No doubt. Braden Noble joins the party. Swan Districts to move to 1-1. The Demons will drop one and go 1-1. Same record. A lot of teams locked on that. Only 2 rounds into the season.
Competitive season this year. Hard to tell where a lot of clubs stand at the moment. Swan Districts could definitely be an interesting story. They look like they have the talent to do it.
Good signs at the club too, because I know the Colts had a win earlier today, and then you looked at their women's team sitting atop of the tree in the WAFL W competition. They're producing some fantastic players at the next level up. So we said at half time, Swan Districts have really recruited well over the last couple of years, obviously with Fisher and their Victorian contingent, and they're getting some good young players as well from regional WA. Turner, Fisher, literally bought his own footy today. Reedy.
It's 41, and that'll be 42 when he disposes of this for Fisher.
Just padding the stats now to Turner. Turner just steps around Maston onto the left boot. This could almost be goal of the night. It misses across the goal face.
Good
Through
distance off a step there. Perth, one last chance to put one up on the board, you would imagine. And as we move over 30 minutes of running time, they move it up the left wing. Left foot kick goes into the middle and finds Sinclair. Ball now with Clark, who moves it inside 50, and what an intercept mark. Taken over the top by Aidan Clark. What a night for him, his 28th touch of the footy.
14 marks too, if you don't mind, and that's probably the toughest one he's taken. Copping one on the back of the head for his good measure, but 14 and just steps around.
Been everywhere tonight. Couple of shots on goal too. Clark just hasn't converted them, and that'll do it. Swan Districts with a big win at Lathlane Park. They defeat the Perth Demons 14-98 to 6-13-49 under the lights at Lathlane.
Polished performance from Swan Districts. Went down in round 1. Fisher, best on ground, you would suggest. In the wash-up, he ends up with 41 disposals, 7 marks, 6 tackles, 7 inside 50s, and 1 goal. Best player in the competition last year.
And that should be another 3 Sandover votes tonight for Fisher. Moving into the 40s for disposals. Really solid performance by him. 6 tackles too, 7 inside 50s, if you don't mind as well.
You have a look at Swan Districts. turning the tide in the possession game with Perth. We said in pre-game, Perth had 111 marks last week against the West Coast Eagles. Had 87 marks tonight, and then Swan Districts come out with 99 team marks, led by Aidan Clark, 14 marks. Fisher with 7, as we said before. Anderson and Waite, 5 marks apiece. Jesse Turner, Cipro. And how good was Josh Cipro tonight? 23 disposals.
He's been short-changed with marks too.
Yeah, 7 inside 50s. Surely Urseg had more than 6 marks. I mean, I counted 6 alone in that.
Sorry, it was Urseg that,
in that second term alone, heading into half-time, and that really set them up for what was coming. In a losing effort, I mean, Chris Maston, plenty of the ball, but not much impact on the contest. Only 2 inside 50s. Whereas Brady Gray, I thought, was one of the better players tonight in losing effort. He had 28 disposals, 7 tackles, and 8 inside 50s, and running the other way against Fisher as well. So having to go both ways, both sides of the football. Brent Edmonds, I thought, was pretty good as well. Taylor had a lot of the footy, but it was across half back. And Regan Clark, 16 disposals and 10 marks, and put Perth six times inside 50. But you have a look at how well Swan Districts constructed their ball movement. They'll clean across half back. I mean, so were Perth. But then once the ball got around to the wing or a half forward, Swan Districts were better at dropping back into the hole, taking intercept marks. And Perth, when they took those intercepting marks across half back, they looked back inside defensive 50 a little too much tonight, whereas Swan Districts are a bit more direct in their ball movement. And you saw just some of the younger players popping up, and then you got the veteran in Riggio kicking 4 goals. As we have a look at some of the highlights, this is one of the highlights for me. And Riggio, that was his 3rd of 4 goals this evening. Having a look at some of the other numbers as well, as far as the goal kickers, we might be able to go through those. As we look at the Westrel highlights, go one better with Westrel. 4 goals to Jesse Palmer, 4 goals to Matt Riggio, 2 goals to Thomas Edwards, another young player coming through, and then they were ably supported by Aidan Clark kicking 1. Fisher got himself on the scoreboard. William Reedy kicking 1 as well.
And what do you make of the ruck battle tonight?
Look, I think the hit-outs is a very deceiving stat in football. It's I mean, obviously giving your team first use, but you have to win the footy at the coalface, and I just thought they were superb today, Swan Districts. Not taking anything away from Perth. They can take some positives heading into next week, but Aidan Clark, there he goes, the longbow, thanks to Westrel, but as we said, 14 marks for him. He was superb. Now have a look at this. I mean, Tony Knott stepping into the hole, another intercept mark. Reedy, their set-up play. And it was that kick there that just hurt Perth a lot tonight. And getting out the back, I probably counted 5 or 6 goals. You know, on that occasion, it was Palmer getting his toe to it. But you had a look at young Edwards. He got out the back a couple of times.
4 scoring shots he had.
But just a complete domination. So let's just quickly go through some of the results. OPTUS WAFL round 2 for season 2021. Our live stream brought to you proudly by Provident Capital Partners. Subiaco with a 33-point win over East Fremantle. Peel Thunder doing a number on the Royals by 105 points. Claremont getting revenge over last year's premiers in the South Fremantle Bulldogs by 16 points. And West Perth against West Coast going away to the Cardies by 78 points. And you've just witnessed an absolute clinic by Swan Districts moving to 1-1. Luke, fantastic call, play-by-play debut tonight. Well done, and we look forward to hearing your voice throughout the 2021 season. On behalf of Front Row Screens, thanks again to Provident Capital Partners, Newtown Toyota, Westrel and KCA Site Services. This is Matt Chechens signing off on behalf of the team at Front Row Screens. We look forward to your company next week.